Great conversation with Xander about Aaron Judge. Good afternoon. Welcome aboard. Appreciate all of you guys stepping in with us. Please do me a favor. Hit the like button, super chats, go to the top. And also, thank you very much for the comments about Doug Pederson yesterday. I thought Doug was candid. I thought he was, with great information on some of the things that I didn't know about the organization. Some of the things that have been held out there in the ether. I suggest some of you, if you're Doug Pederson fans, go back and watch it. We have it there for you at JAKIB. And we are now working, by the way, and Doug put a word in for us with Nick Foles. So we are putting in for Nick Foles in the next couple days. So we're looking forward to that. We appreciate all of you. Today is, without a doubt, it is Battle Royale at 4:30. Big Z will be with us at 3:30. And anything you guys want to bring up, we appreciate it. We're now also on the eve of Thursday Night Football. Giants and Eagles. Divisional game. I don't know. Okay? I don't know. We're going to get into that here in a minute. And let me say something, because I just mentioned Aaron Judge. He's hitting 500 in the series. 4 RBI game he had last night. 3 for 4. Hit a bomb in the game. All good. However, when you play in the pinstripes, you're gauged on what you do in the postseason. Can't be a one-of. Now, again, they're not losing that series and getting blown out by. Toronto still has a 2-1 lead. They win 9-6 last night after being down 6-1. And they end up rallying and winning. Toronto's still in control of that series. It's at the stadium tonight. So we'll see. Look, this has not been an Aaron Judge issue where the guy can't hit his body weight. So we'll see how this rolls on. But the only way that you're going to be looked at as one of the greatest Yankees of all time is if you make moves in the postseason that make you one of the greatest of all time. All right. Sills, Kobe Dean is back. Vaughn is in an all-pro, and Campbell is on the development fast track. So how do the Eagles tend on incorporating Dean into the game plan? They're not. I'm not taking the first-round draft pick and a guy I just gave $17 million to put Nakobe Dean back in a rotation. He'll have to earn his rotation. Plus, he's going to have to show Vic that he's in condition to be able to be involved in a game plan. He's not going to be involved in a game plan. They're going to get him reps tomorrow night. Okay? They will get him reps. He will be in the game. But to make him part of a game plan, I am not doing anything, any specialized packages, until I see what I have. How much shape this guy hasn't played since last year, right? Listen, I want him on my roster. He's a good football player. But I'm not taking Jahad Campbell out, and I'm not doing anything with Zach Bond. Zach Bond and Cooper DeJean are your best open field tacklers. Not doing anything like that. We'll talk more about Nakobe, because that's a great sign. Anytime that you can add good football players to your roster, that's always a good thing, especially when you're losing a dude like Landon. We'll talk more about that here in a minute. Nick Sirianni spoke. Jalen Hurts spoke in the last 24 hours. We're going to talk about that. No question, Giants on Thursday. We're going to take a look at them. And I got to say this right out of the gate here on Kevin Patullo. I don't get this guy. I tried to listen to that press conference. Not only does he not know what he's doing in a game, he has no idea what he's saying. It's like, I don't know what we're looking at or hearing. He's got no rhyme or reason in what he's doing. He can't explain himself very well in the microphone. Now, is that somebody telling him what to say? I'm assuming. He's just not, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking at here with him. I look at Josh Grizzard, who's the offensive coordinator with the Buccaneers. And to me, Josh Grizzard is doing a great job with Baker Mayfield. They have no Mike Evans. They have no Bucky Irvin. They got 2 dudes missing in the O-line. And the Buccaneers can move the sticks and go on the road and win ball games against good football teams. Josh Grisard, in my opinion, is doing a great – he's a first-time play caller. I mean, right. The Bucs are grinding. Kevin Patullo, I don't know, man. I mean, he makes no sense. And he makes no sense when it comes to what he's trying to explain on what and where the offense is right now. I mean, he's just absolutely, I have no idea what he's talking about. Now, I heard Nick Sirianni, too. One thing I'll say right out of the gate here after this whole thing with this meeting. By the way, now we're giving kudos to the starting quarterback for having a decent press conference because he opened up more. What the fuck is that? I mean, honestly, what? That is so wormy. Again, we're in the wormy world about how a guy's press conference, like I said about Patullo, the reason I brought that up with him, because his play calling is as erratic as his press conferences. They're like the same thing. Jalen Hurts, we're gauging now and giving grades on how he comes off in a presser is dopey. I'm going to say this about this meeting that these guys had. Okay? I'm going to say this. I don't really think that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown have to work on their personal relationship. I think they've got to work more on their business relationship. Okay? And how they go about their business. This is more about their professional relationship. Because I personally don't give a shit about their private relationship. Whether they hang out with one another, drinking beers, go over to each other's house, go on a bowling venture, go out and play cards. I don't really give a shit about that. I care that you have a good business relationship and how you go about, connecting with your teammates. This is more about connecting with your teammate stuff than anything else and what I'm taking away from it. That other stuff is stupid. I don't really give a shit about it. Patullo's press conferences are useless. He says nothing that doesn't take accountability nor responsibility. Yeah, because you know why? What does that tell you if he doesn't do any of that? If he's not taking any of that accountability or responsibility, he must not feel responsible. And it must be somebody else's call on what's going on with the direction of the offense. Most people who take responsibility and accountability, you own what you're doing. He's not owning it because it's not his. This is Nick's offense. Okay? That's what I'm saying. That this is his offense. I mean, dude, I'm sick of listening to this. I really am. What's the offense game plan if you're Nick? Run the ball. Not being too creative. Not being ultra complex. Get this. I see people in here doing the stats and saying stats with my name. Your coach does it too. Your entire organization is run on stats. Completely run on stats. Because it's analytics. Is it not? Right, Sue? The analytics in the Eagles is you go, by the way, I go by and talk by your metrics and by your what do you call it? Your trends. Because they do. This is how you build a game plan. Doug said it yesterday. All the numbers that we throw at you. Doug said it yesterday. That's how your game plan is built. Don't get mad at me. That's how the Eagles put their game plan together. Okay? You see that fucking stupid guy, that LJ guy? Doug Pederson said yesterday that analytics is a major part in how they build the game plan. So all you guys are wrong. And you don't want to admit it. The former head football coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, who won a Super Bowl for you, said that that's how they build a lot of the game plan is by the analytics. The things you call stats. Okay? Get this. Now he's saying that analytics and stats, no, they're not. They're totally the same. Nobody's talking about individual numbers here. Guys, I'm not going to debate this when the head football coach came on yesterday and said it. You're wrong. Seals, how much could we really rip Jalen when Frank Wright was Wentz's best coordinator, when Shane was Hurts' best coordinator? Ever since then, it's been trash cans for coordinators. By the way, once again here, guys, I don't have to justify it. Doug Pederson did yesterday. It's okay. You can ignore the coaches and the players on what they say. Whatever you're saying is irrelevant. So skip it 100. So skip it 100. How long I've been telling you, and Xander, this is all little Nicky. How you doing? Sure seems it now. I don't. He said the Eagles build it like he was talking about the whole NFL and how they use it. Yeah, okay. And that's exactly what they did and how they use analytics. Yes. Correct. Okay, yes. It's always been Nick's offense. 20 wins, last 22 games. Then why are you hiring a coordinator? Then why all the coordinators? So RC is telling you that this is Nick's offense. Then why are you hiring all these new coordinators every year for Jalen? If it's Nick's offense, why can't Nick run it? Got an answer? Do you have an answer? RC3's telling you that this is Nick's offense, and it has been for the last 22 games. Okay? Well, then why all the new coordinators every year? If Nick is running this, why can't he play call it? RC3, any answer? When you win, someone has to get promoted. So wait a minute. When you win, someone has to get promoted. So no matter if they're qualified, you promote them? So you promoted a guy who wasn't qualified because you won? How about is he qualified? Just because you're on the Eagle coaching staff doesn't mean you're qualified to call plays. Where did you get that from? Position needs to be filled. They're getting promoted. I'm not promoting anybody to an offensive coordinator's role because he's been in the building. They passed Petula over twice. The coordinators are all scapegoats. Wait, it's Nick's offense. Okay. Nick did. Nick promoted an incompetent guy again. Or at least until right now, further notice. My question is, who the fuck promoted him? Nick did. Nick did because of what people just said, RC3. Because he was in the building and it needed to be filled. Not looking for the most qualified guy. How else are people supposed to gain experience? Not every coach is a Nepo baby. How about this, senor? Are you trying to tell me that you would hire a guy who's never been an offensive coordinator in the world and turn that over to a Super Bowl offensive football team with no experience and expect the same results as a year ago? Make that make sense to me. I got some stat predictions for you. A.J. Brown, 4 catches, 30 yards, 2 tweets, 1 meeting, 2 Bob Blank, blood pressure spikes. That's hilarious. Sills knee pad Nicky can't keep getting away with this shit. Yeah, because again, every year they hire a coordinator. It's either going to be a grand slam or it's going to be a fire. Nick didn't have great experience coming in to being a head coach. And he was 9-8. And he was 2-4. Then Shane took over as the offensive coordinator and you went on a win streak. Correct. Whoever said Nick was a good play calling head coach, he's never proven it. Where? Indy with Rivers? Where in the world is that? He was 2-4 when he turned over the offensive play calling duties to Shane Steichen. He was 2-4. Remember? You forget that, don't you? They were 2-4. 2-4. And then under Brian Johnson, here, let's take a look at, let's just go for shits and giggles here. If Nick is really in charge of this offense. So they went 11-6. That's 13-10. And right now, they're 4-1. So right now, with Nick being in control of the offense, according to what RC3 says, they're 17-11 as an NFL football team with Nick Sirianni controlling the offense. If that's what you're saying, he's 17-11, right? 2-4, 11-6, and 4-1 is 17-11. It's hit or miss. They are fail-safes for Nick. They do good, they get Nick head coaching jobs. They do bad, they get blamed and fired. It's actually brilliant by Nick. You're right, because it's a fail-safe. He's dead on. Hey, you get promoted and become a head coach somewhere in the NFL when you come to Philly. And if you don't, you're fired and you're a scapegoat. Hey, it's all in, isn't it? You come to Philly, you're all in as a coordinator because you're either going to be fired or you're going to be a head coach somewhere. It's pretty cool. And Nick could always lean on that, and so can the organization. Jalen Carter's been listed as questionable for tomorrow's game. They fail-safes for Nick. They do. That's right. It's a great way of looking at that. Jalen Carter just got listed as questionable for the Giants game tomorrow night. So why does everyone assume we are going to beat New York? I don't see anything on this team that gives me confidence. We'll talk about New York here in a minute. Yeah, I wanted to bring that up about Kevin Patullo right out of the gate. I don't see it with this guy. I just don't. I mean, his play calling stinks. His routes and everything else he's doing. Maybe it's the quarterback. Sure. Okay. Maybe so. But I don't see it. All right. Give me a score on this Giants game. What do you think? What do you think? Give me a number for Thursday night. Short work week. No Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson's not playing in this game. No Landon. You got a banged up Carter who's questionable for the. They may not play Jalen Carter tomorrow night. No Carter and no Landon Dickerson, maybe with Carter. So he's questionable. So you don't have Jalen Carter in the middle of that. That would be a rough one. They listed Carter as a heel injury. Wow. Okay. I thought it was his shoulder. So now he's got another injury. On top of the shoulder, Jalen Carter's having a rough year. Rough year. Let me get to the Giants here. Let's see, 24-12, 16-27, 23-13 Giants, 28-14 Eagles. Let me give you my takeaways on what I'm looking at with the trends of where the Giants are. Now, here's what I'm going to do right here. We'll get into Nick Sirianni, what he said today, or what he didn't say today. Here's how a game plan is built. You see, the one thing that we give you here is we give you how game plans are actually built and what they're looking at. Like, for instance, the last game that the New York Giants, because Brian Dable and Joe Schoen are in the building together still, they are going to go by the last game and what they were trying to accomplish with the quarterback that they had the last time the Giants played. Now that you've added Jackson Dart, the first couple games of the year probably are not going to be as important offensively because why? You've taken out the quarterback, Russell Wilson, and you're going to a completely different style of play. He's a running gunner. This is what he is. He's a running gun guy. So the first couple games are going to be a little bit limited, probably be able to use their defensive stuff on that side of the ball. But when you're talking about games, you're talking about common opponents. You'll look at the Cowboy game that they played pretty well in. You'll look at some of the people that have the same kind of mentality that the Philadelphia Eagles have, and you'll come up with a game plan based on what your last 5 games are and what your favorite plays are. Think about it. So the trends and the numbers that I'm going to give you here, this is what the Giants do. They do this in I formation. They do this no backs. They do this on the -35. They do this on the +42. So this is who the Giants are heading into this game. Let me give you my overall takeaway on their roster. I don't think they have a very good roster. I think they're limited in the O-line. They got a good tackle. They're limited. I think the quarterback is still trying to figure it out. I think Joe Schoen and Brian Dable have not built a very good football team. If you look at every single level at their team, O-line, C-, running backs, C, quarterback, incomplete, receivers, D, tight end, C, D, D-line, very good, B+, A-, linebackers, C, secondary, D+, C-. They're just not great anywhere. Okay, they're just not great anywhere. So, and here's what they've done. They're 19th in total offense. Is that a shocker? No, because they're so inconsistent in play. Passing, they're 18th. Is that a shocker? No, they lost Neighbors. They've got no rhyme or rhythm. Running the ball, 13th. You're hanging around the top 10. That's not terrible. That's got a lot to do with the mobility of the quarterback. Scoring, they can't get the ball in the end zone. I think they're scoring 17 a game. They did that a year ago. Red zone, they're the worst team in the NFL. You get to the red zone, you can't score. And the Eagles are one of the better red zone teams defensively. And on third down, they're one of the worst teams in the league at 30th. They're just not very good. Now, can they get better with this roster and what they have on that 53-man? No. Can the quarterback get better? Maybe. To what level, though? There's not enough help around him. It's funny. You draft a quarterback. Number one, you take him in the first round. You're not prepared for him. Here's the problem that you have with the Giants. Even when they drafted Daniel Jones, when you draft a quarterback, are you prepared to draft for that quarterback? Do you have a decent enough O-line? Do you have any skilled players to help him get out of trouble and to help develop him as he's going through the growing pains of being a quarterback in the NFL? If you want to die in the vine, go to New York with any of those teams, Giants or Jets. You're not going to get anywhere. I mean, what are the Giants teaching him right now? They're not ready for a first-round quarterback. Well, we're going to draft a first-round quarterback and then build the team. That's not how that works. I mean, think about this. When Trevor Lawrence went to Jacksonville, they had some components on the team for him. There was something there. Not a lot, but there was something there. I mean, there's just nothing offensively in New York. Now, Neighbors was a good piece, but you banked on all of it with him. I don't know, man. They weren't ready for him. And Brian Daboll has not been a very good coach. You see us running RPOs in the tush push. Running the RPOs without Landon and a healthy interior offensive line? I don't know. Running the tush push after Lane got hurt on it? And now you got a problem with Landon? If Daniel Jones wins the NFL MVP, this is going to be an indictment on the Giants. Yeah, based off of a year ago, with Saquon Barkley with 2,005 yards in the Offensive NFL Player of the Year, you bet your ass it'll be an indictment on them. I don't know how those two guys keep their job. I said it a year ago. How do you keep your – you know what? I remember John giving people who said that they shouldn't have kept Saquon Barkley. How do you think Saquon Barkley would have been helped out right now with Jackson Dart? You think that would have helped them? Well, Sills, they don't have a good O-line. Well, maybe instead you would have went into the draft and also did more in the draft with offensive line. You think Barkley could have helped Dart this year? If they ended up drafting Dart and then you still had Barkley on the team? You think that would have helped them? At least a little. Right? Would have helped them a little bit. Instead, they exit the guy off the team. And you have no running back. You have no offensive line. The Giants, all the way back to Dave Gettleman, couldn't figure out an offensive line. This guy's got no help. Get this, revision? No, the idea is to keep good players on your team. Not lie to them and tell them, make sure you give us first cracks at free agency. Do you understand that you could have signed Saquon Barkley for $7 million if you were the Giants? $7 million, $8 million. Instead, you let him go. Now he's making 20 and he's got a Super Bowl ring. I mean, I don't know, man. I would never have gotten rid of Barkley. I would have did everything in my power to build a team around Barkley. Nope. And for all of you out there talking about Barkley's not going to no Hall of Fame. That 2,000-yard season a year ago took a lot out of the team. Did you ever think last year not only took a lot out of Barkley, but it also took a lot out of the O-line? Did you ever think that? That maybe a year ago, the way they ran the ball, as often as they ran the ball, with an aging Lane Johnson, did you think that Cam got hurt because of the style of play you had a year ago, where you were so dominant running the ball? Did you ever take into consideration, not only is Barkley worn down a bit, maybe your O-line is worn down a bit? Did you ever think that? I mean, offensive line looks very banged up. Offensive line needed another month off. Well, unfortunately, you're the champs. Let's take a look at the Giants on defense now. 26th in total defense. Jesus. 24th in pass defense. Here's another tough one. 26th in run defense. With that group that you have, all goes back to the fact that you can't score and your offense is leaving that defense out to dry. These numbers on defense are not factual numbers. Why? They're a good group. That front seven's good, but they're on the field too long, the same way you saw what Denver did to you in the fourth quarter. They're getting worn out, and they're getting beat up late in games because the offense can't keep and stay on the field. They're 30th and third down. What's that tell you? The only teams that are worse than the Giants in third down are the Eagles. Too many 3-and-outs here. They're 22nd in scoring. Well, the change of quarterback's going to do that. Red zone, they're 9th. Well, how often do they get there? You're 22nd in scoring. You're 9th in red zone. Well, you don't get there often. And on third down, they're 24th. Now, again, remember something, folks. This is what you've done for 5 football games in 20 quarters. This is who you are right now. A lot of that has to do with personnel, injuries. Did you make a change of quarterback? So all of that plays a factor in who you are. Okay? So when you head into this game, a lot of these numbers here, especially on defense, I'd be suspect. I think they're not awful on the front. Shit show tomorrow on both ends. Might end in a tie. Look at here, man. There's no way the New York Giants should be in this football game at all whatsoever tomorrow night. There is no way. However, if Carter's limited, your rush defense is not very good as it is. It's just not very good. Go down the line here on who you are right now, and let's take a look at the Eagles and who they are defensively right now. We kind of broached your trends right now. In total defense, the Eagles are 20th. Pass defense, the Eagles are 15th. Rush defense. This is the really shocking one. They're 22nd in run defense. Man, these are terrible numbers for a team that has all that ability on it. You're 16th in scoring. Those are terrible. For a team with that kind of offensive firepower, and you're going against the Giants team that really doesn't have a lot. And when you start missing people like Landon and potentially Carter, here's who they are offensively now, the Eagles. So you're 20th in total on defense. You're 15th in pass. You're 22nd in run. And you're 16th in scoring. Total offense, you're 30th. Passing, you're 31st. This is Nick's offense. Like RC3 says, this is Nick's offense. You're 25th in rushing. and you're 12th in scoring. Wow. Man, I'm you're just not very good right now. James Jones, thank you very much, brother. It's 5 weeks, actually. Only 4 weeks before, okay, the Lions come and blow the doors off the Eagles. Real champs are coming. With Saquon Barkley. That wasn't Nick's offense with Pickett or McKee. No, that was Kellen calling plays. That Lions game might be the same as the Niners game in 23 if we don't fix this shit. Those are terrible. And get this. I told Xander this yesterday with your defense. I don't think these are that awful when you had 5 guys that you replaced from the Super Bowl roster. I don't think this is that bad. I really don't. I don't think this is that awful. Because look, I think you're going to improve. The problem with the offense is what? Why is the offense struggling so poorly? What would be the reasoning? What would be the reasoning that the offense is struggling so poorly with all that talent? Dude, there's no reason for the Giants to be in this ball game tomorrow night. You should beat that team by 3 touchdowns. Giants will be in the game. I think you're right. We're inconsistent. We can't handle the ebbs and flows, Sills. It's coaching. So, that's funny you should say that. Incompetence. How many times are you going to allow Nick to make a coaching hire and elevate a guy from within? Is this the last time? If this doesn't get turned around? There you go, brother. Thank you very much, Fishing Maniac. Appreciate you. By the way, we have the Battle Royale, too. If you're up 17-3, run the ball, play the game. Forrest, no one has answered why they went away from the run. And they started throwing the ball in the second half. There was no reasoning for that. A high school coach would run the clock off. There's no way. Patullo in the O-line. You also have to add Nick in there too, by the way. We need a real OC no matter the outcome. Dude, I don't really think it's the OC. I think it's the quarterback. And I don't mean that he can't win. A guy like John Gruden with Jalen Hurts would be terrible. He would screw him up. John Gruden would screw up Jalen Hurts because John would want to run these exotic plays. Hurts doesn't run an exotic offense. He's never in his entire career. Forrest, I'm the biggest pessimist in this place right now. If they lose tomorrow to the Giants, they won't win 9 games. You heard me. If they lose to the Giants tomorrow night, they won't win 9 games. And they got 4 right now. Okay? They will not win 9 games if they lose. That is not a good roster. Why would I put money on something I think you're going to win tomorrow night? I think you're going to win tomorrow night. I can't see the Giants having an advantage anywhere in this football game except for one thing. The Eagles have shit on themselves the last 2 weeks with all this sidebar bullshit. They have created an anthill into a molehill. It's the only thing that is in the way is them. The Giants are not that good. Maybe they're doing this on purpose to change the tape. Come on, man. Mikey. They can't get out of their own way right now, Mikey. Injuries to the O-line. Cam not being 10%. Steen isn't Becton in the run game. Think about what you're saying there, Forrest. Landon not being Landon. Cam not being good. Steen not being Becton. Your entire interior offensive line is 1,000% different than a year ago. Do you not agree? Do you not agree? Your old line is not the same. Your center and your two guards. That is not a top 5 O line. Seals, pure talent, Vic and Bond are winning these games. Not the coaching on offense. No identity or balance whatsoever. I agree. I don't think you have very good coaching on offense. I think you've got great talent on offense. I think you've got great winners on offense. I've always said your coaching staff has never been really. You think that's Frank Reich and Doug Pederson? Like, let me ask you something here. Do you think that Kevin Patullo and Nick? Ask yourself this. Do you think Kevin Patullo and Nick could take Tanner McKee and win a Super Bowl with him if something happened to Jalen Hurts? The same way that those guys took, after Carson Wentz got hurt, they took Nick Foles and took Nick Foles to a Super Bowl and won it? I mean, do those coaches look like even Kyle Shanahan? Look what he's doing with Mac Jones. The loss of Graham, police in the locker room, is the biggest culprit of this team's struggles. Well, yeah, because you've had character issues. You've got guys that are bitching at one another on offense. Hey, by the way, that's a great take by Philly Born here. So here's what you got. You got 3-person player meetings. You got a player going to social media, talking shit on whoever in the organization. You've got a guy spitting on another quarterback. This is all within 5 games. How do you think that culture and character is inside your locker room right now? Help me out here. Where's Nick in this? I mean, I have never seen any of this in the last 4 years. Right? You had a player that was kicked out of a ball game because of spitting, and you've got one player who's been bitching for 3 weeks and you're still winning games. Where's this so-called culture? How does that look? And by the way, you know what else they got? They got media people telling you, hey, that meeting didn't really matter. Well, then why'd you have it? Shields, we need veteran leadership. If I was an NFL agent, the best advice I'd give a player client in 2005 is trade your iPhone for a flip phone. Sills has that female gene. He likes to make drama. No, I'm commenting on your drama. I didn't do this. Your guys did. This ain't me, dude. I'm not tweeting out after night about how fucking bad the offense is. I'm not putting some soliloquy down telling everybody how fucking bad the coordinators are. I'm not the one spitting on players. That ain't me. That's you guys. I sit here and just bark at what you guys are doing. I'm reacting to it. You guys are making it sound like I made this shit up. This is shit you're doing. Really? Well, hook me up here. Who called this 3-person meeting? Reuben Frank? Sills? Who put that tweet out? AJ? Sills? Not me. I mean, right? Oh, by the way, I got to tell you a little story here. Rhea Hughes, the brilliant update person on WIP, watches the show all the time, and I want to thank you for watching the show. She's not allowed to comment on it through some sources that were told to me. She's not allowed, and Odyssey and WIP doesn't want her commenting on my show. And they were going to use some of the Doug Pederson interview bites. Odyssey and the company mandated that she take them out of the system because they didn't want to mention my show. So I have to thank WIP very much for making something like AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, no, not Devontae, AJ Barkley and Hurts, how those guys made it. And Angelo even said to me, Cataldi, Angelo said, hey, don't be upset by it. It's a merit badge. Okay? So I want to thank everybody. Oh, by the way, this is a credit to you guys. Not to me. This is a credit to you guys and what we've built here now. I want to thank you guys a lot, man. Yeah, Rhea Hughes not allowed to come on. We asked her to come on the program. She said she can't because the program director won't let her. By the way, what are you doing hiring a program director from Phoenix? What the fuck does he know about Philly? He's not even from the New England area. What would he know about Philadelphia? Oh, wait, he doesn't really have to know anything about Philly because he could just walk around on his knees too. It's pretty potent over there to walk around on your knees. I mean, come on now. Thank you very much. Hey, Sue, can I tell you, you know what's funny? The interview we did with Doug yesterday were all questions that I wanted to know because there's so many people in here that were telling me different stories about how the Eagles run their business. So I figured why not ask the Deuce himself and ask Doug Pederson how things were run. What happened at the end? I didn't know that Doug was fired. Now, to Xander and to Howard Eskin, you know, they probably did set him up, knowing full well he wanted to keep his offensive coordinator and his coaches. So that was probably the pushing point where they knew that they were going to get him out of the building. So they were basically setting him up to failure, and they were going to fire him anyway. And you heard Doug say that he wanted to come back in 26. He wanted to come back the following year in 2021. He thought he was coming back. Instead, they pulled the rug out from under him. They said, fine, we're going to go in our own way. Doug, it's in the best interest if we part ways. A guy that delivered you a Super Bowl. Seals, you asked him tough questions in a non-threatening way. Well, that's how you get people to come back on my program. You got to be smart in how you ask questions. Every question's a setup. Always remember this. When you're doing an interview with someone, If you can't make a soundbite out of it, don't do the interview. Every question and every answer has to be a soundbite because you never know when the guy's going to say something. If you're not looking for a soundbite, you're not doing your job. Yes, we got it at 4:30. I take Doug definitely if Kingsbury bounces. Hey, Doug even said this. Were you guys shocked? Nobody in Philadelphia has picked up the fact that Doug Pederson on this program yesterday said that if the Eagles offered him a consultant job, he'd seriously consider it. Nobody picked that up. Boy, they hate Big Sills. I thought that was one of the sound bites of the interview. I asked him first if the Eagles had contacted him. He said no. I said, would you be interested if they reached back out to you and had you come in as a consultant? I'd be open to it. I didn't say that, and nor did he. He did leave the door open for him to come back in some role. Okay? It's Cap, he didn't know he was going to be Ken. It was well reported that the speculation was a new OC. Okay. I asked AM Race, whatever you say, I asked Doug if he thought he was coming back in 21. He said fucking yes. Whatever, dude. Whatever you posted was irrelevant because he believed going into that final meeting, he was coming back. Well reported. The guy told you yesterday he believed he was coming back. He didn't want to believe it. Out of the guy's own mouth, he fucking said it. He thought he was coming back. I mean, Jesus criminy, dude. You can argue with me, but don't argue when the guy says it himself. Eagles had a chance to bring back Gardner Johnson and blew it. And blew it. Going to be Ravens is a waste of his talent. The Ravens are a joke. They believe they are better, and they are not. Okay? Look at this. He still doesn't believe it. He thought he was going to come back. He said it. He wanted to coach Hurts. Holy shit, guy. Stop fucking lying. It's not what he said. That guy believed he was coming back. Sirianni would be upset if Doug came back. He needs good help. Hey, dude, I don't know about you. Having Doug Pederson in my coaching staff in any kind of role, okay, would not be a bad reason. Eagles would have to collapse for Nick to get fired. Nick ain't getting fired, dude. Nick's got 2 years of shitty football minimum for them to be able to consider firing that guy. Why didn't the Eagles just trade Doug? Geez, would have been a haul. Right after he won the Super Bowl? I don't know. Maybe that's what they'll do to Sirianni. You ever think of that? They trade Nick Sirianni for draft picks and send him somewhere. Dougie P was a victim of Carson's collapse. I'm starting to figure it. Wait a minute now. Gee, so Carson collapsed as a starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts is going the other way as a starting quarterback, as an offensive guy. I don't know. Looks kind of similar. Seals, if Dougie P was surprised he was getting canned, did he not realize it was when Press Taylor was rejected by the front office that he wasn't going to be retained? Senor, like Xander and like Howard Eskin said, I think that was the bridge that when the Eagles presented that, they knew that he was out. And Doug probably had a feeling on it. Because if that's, yes, I had heard this too. Seth told me this. Remember, there was 3 days of meetings, though. It wasn't just one meeting. There were 3 days of meetings that they had before they decided by the end of the week to have fired Doug Pederson. So it wasn't decided right away. Big Sills. Well, then guess what, M. Reyes? You could call fucking Doug a liar all you want. It's not what he said. Big Sills in the Petula interview, he said this word for word about the offense. We've done a good job. We just got to keep processing and working through this. What the hell is he talking about? I don't know. I have no idea. He goes, we've done a good job. At what? I just told you where you are in trends right now. You're one of the worst offensive football teams in pro football. When those guys constantly say, did you hear Nick Sirianni say, what's the guy's name, Brett Toth? He says he's done a great job. And I'm like, what film are you watching, guy? I mean, what fucking film are you watching? Carson mentally deteriorated too, but they cleaned house quick, giving Jalen a chance. I'm never going to see Carson with what Jalen has, ever. And they made sure of that. They leaned, get this, they leaned more on Carson Wentz than they did Jalen Hurts to win games. Is that a fair comment? They leaned more on Wentz to win games than Jalen. Passing numbers tell you. The wins tell you, and the lack of talent around him tells you that. Carson Wentz never had the talent Hurts has. Never in any time did he ever have that. For that matter, nor did Donovan McNabb. Not one of those. They leaned more on Wentz to win games than they do Hurts. Hurts doesn't have to be great every week. He doesn't. He could throw for 70 yards and they win because they got other great players. Dude, you think there's a reason that the all-time single passing leader in the history of the Philadelphia Eagles is Carson Wentz? And the all-time touchdown single season guy is Carson Wentz? And he did that with guys who didn't have 500 or more passing yards as a wide receiver. That's right. He only had Zach Ertz. Sills, it is Sirianni's job to keep the players' confidence up. I completely agree with you. By the way, Carson Wentz is falling out of he's out of gas. I'm with you. Tells you a lot when Wentz is still the only Eagle quarterback in franchise history to throw for 4K. He did it with no receivers over 500 yards. Correct. Carson Wentz with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith would have threw for $5,000 and would have won games still. That narrative that Jalen can't pass is BS. He did it last year. Wait a minute. No. Those are spot games. Oh, hey, 31. If he can do it, why don't they do it then? And why are you one of the worst passing offenses in pro football? You're going to try to tell me it's a coordinator again? It's the same. Last year, the coordinator is now the head coach of the Saints, and you won a Super Bowl, and you were 29th. Now you're 31st, and you're 4-1, and they still don't do it. Any reasoning? If he's so fucking good as a passer, why are the team's passing numbers so pathetic? He can't? They know he can't. Answer the question. Last year, you won the Super Bowl. They were 29th. This year, you're 31st and you're 4-1, but they don't throw the ball. Okay? If he's so good and he's so great, and it's BS he can pass, then why don't they? Any idea? I'd surely like to know this answer. You don't have an iconic running game now. What are you? You're 22nd in running now. You don't have some iconic run game. You know that excuse that everybody said a year ago? Well, they don't really have to throw the ball because they had an iconic run game. Well, you don't now. Why can't you still pass? Better yet, we'll take the word pass out. Why can't you have balance? Any reasoning? Or no? Your run game's not very good this year. Help me out here. If they're so good at passing quarterback, why don't they have balance? Now it's the play caller. Well, wait a minute. This year's play caller's doing the same thing last year's play caller did. I mean, if Hurts is so good in balance, how come it's still the same? The run game's exposed to passing attack, or lack thereof it. Sil's hot take, Wentz looked like Mahomes in 17 prior to his injuries. It was sad to see his career go down the drain like that. I completely agree. I think he had a lot, and I think he let a lot of that infect his life as well. So he's accountable for that too. It's not Jalen's arm talent. It's his ability to read zone defenses. Okay? I don't have a problem with that, Dirty D. Dude, the same issues that hampered him at Alabama are still hampering him. Holds the ball too long, takes sacks, struggles with reading defenses, and identifying pressure. That's not changed. And how about this? You put him in a simplified offense, he can run the hell out of it. You put him in a complex motion offense, he struggles like a madman. You put him in a simplistic offense and allow him to play a little bit outside the schoolyard, he's going to run and he's going to make yards and he's going to extend the chains on you. He plays a lot like Patrick Mahomes in a way. If you think about it, Andy Reid's got to rein Patrick Mahomes in and put guardrails more around him, right? Hurts is better when he's ad-libbing, in my opinion. I think he's better like when shit breaks down and he's got to go make a play. The only problem that you get with this is now he's predictable in his escapes. Run right, run right, run right, throw right, run right, run right. Very rarely do you see him going to his left and making a play. It's like clockwork. Throw to the numbers, roll right. Throw to the numbers, roll right. Occasionally go across the middle where Goddard. Goddard, get this. In my opinion, the most underutilized position on your offensive football team is that tight end. That tight end should make 100 catches a year and be moving the sticks because that pass is always open. They never throw there. And it's funny, every time they do, he's open. I think it's a combination of coaching and our play across the board. Line isn't blocking, Hurts not reading, wide receivers not running good routes. How can that be? 10 months ago, you were the world champs. How can that be? Dude, you lost one guy on offense. You lost 5 on defense. I kind of expected the defense to wobble and to try to find their footing. I'll tell you this. This offense continues to wobble the way it is. Your defense will be in shatters by week 10. They'll be giving up enormous yards if this doesn't get rectified. Your offense is going to doom your defense. The fourth quarter of that Bronco game, I think it's signs of things to come. If that offense can't figure it out, if they can't get sustained drives and get a little more balance in their offense, you're going to doom your defense. They're too young in too many critical positions. Okay? 92 likes. Guys, let's get that up. I'd love to see if we can get to 200 by the end of the program. Xander will join us at 3:30. Battle Royale will be with us at 4:30. How would you take Hurts to the next step in his progressions? I heard he talks to Tom Brady. I would hope they are talking about coaching and progression as a passer. Tom Brady, you know what Tom Brady would tell him? What are they teaching you? Let me ask you something here. What in the world could Kevin Patullo be teaching Jalen Hurts right now in the stage of his career? What? Fundamentals? Reminding him of it? I really don't think Jalen has really good fundamentals. I think he's just a really good football player. Hurts is probably the least coached quarterback of all the contending teams because of the coordinator changes. And get this. Here, put this in here. These new coordinators they hire, are they for Nick? Hey, Xander, remind me to ask you this, okay? These new coordinators that they hire for the Eagles every year, are they for Nick or Jalen? I'll ask again. Are these new coordinators for Nick or for Jalen? Who do you think? I can't tell you how many times I've heard Jalen Hurts complain about the changing in coordinator. Last year it was 100% change. I think these new coordinators every year they hire is for Nick, not for Jalen. And there lies your problem. All of you are basically saying they hire these coordinators for Nick. Did you ever think about that for a minute? This is why they don't hire the right guy for Jalen. And the only guy that you've ever had for Jalen was Shane Steichen. Do you think there's any coincidence to that? These coordinators aren't hired for Jalen Hurts. They're hired for Nick Sirianni. Because they know he's not a good play caller. We saw it when he was 2-4. And we see the lack of development for the quarterback. We saw a year ago that Kellen Moore didn't think anything but to take the ball out of Hurts' hands and give the ball to Barkley. There was no fight by anybody on, hey, can you imagine going into Cincinnati and doing this to Joe Burrow? Hey, Joe, you're going to pass less. And we're going to run the ball more. Okay? Joe Burrow would demand a trade. Here, you see a guy like this, because he's not very smart, I'll explain it to him. Tom Brady said it perfectly, the guy with 7 Super Bowls. When you're hiring an offensive coordinator, the number one priority has to be that you're hiring a guy that's going to get and do the best to develop the quarterback each and every single time he has him, because that's the centerpiece of your team. You show me in the last year and 5 games where they've developed Jalen Hurts as a passer or helped him in any way. Where? Where have they helped him? You go back and you talk about the Super Bowl, that's Hurts' ability that did that. Jalen Hurts can play. No one's denying that. Nick's not a good play caller. So they're hiring a guy that will listen to Nick. Developing Jalen? They haven't developed Jalen since 22. His ability to throw. Well, if he was so fucking good, Reyes, why aren't they doing it? Dude, this guy cannot make a point to save his life because their actions counter everything he says. He bitches about what Doug said yesterday, and he's trying to tell you right now, okay? And he's trying to tell you that every coordinator that they've hired has helped Jalen. How is that even? The results don't dictate that. I've supported Hurts for our run, but we have to call it what it is. He's inconsistent. He doesn't read the field well. We have a QB2 who might. Well, let me throw this at you here and back in and defending Jalen Hurts. Guys, just because it doesn't look aesthetically like the other quarterbacks in the NFL, these guys win, okay? Okay, they win because they run simplified offense. It's not a high complex offense. He excels in that offense. Keep running it. I'm denying it. He fucking stinks, Sills. I ain't trolling. I'm zero trolling. He's not. That's not true. That is not true about Jalen Hurts. That is not true. Dude, you have to always put into context the winning. Okay? Big Sills, can you tell me why the Eagles don't want to put obvious injured players on an injured report or IR? It's ridiculous. I said this from day one about Landon. Dude, you needed to sit this guy earlier in the year. Instead, you wobbled along. You wanted to get through those first 5 games. And now you're going to sit him because you have the Giants, Minnesota, and the Giants again. And then I believe you go into your bye, right? You may have done more damage to your old line by having Landon this injured. Dude, you guys are going over the cliff here. Hurts does not blow. His record does not dictate that. That is not a fair commentary. I'm not going anywhere near that. Okay? I am not going anywhere near that. Not for a long time would I even broach that. Again, keep it simple. Get healthier. The issue I have with analytics is they can be manipulated. Bad play calling creates bad stats, trends, which skews the analytics. No? Yeah. Well, player injuries also play a factor in your analytics. I mean, sometimes, like, you look at the Bucs don't have a very good run game right now. Well, they don't have a very good O-line. They've got 3 guys missing in the offensive line. They've lost Bucky Irvin. So are they lower in the statistics and in the trends of rushing the ball in the first 5 games? Of course they are. Why? Injuries. Now, when they get Irvin back and Luke Gedeke back on the right side, they get some more players that are able to move around, that number's going to shoot back up again. So those are kind of false numbers. Like I mentioned with the Giants defensive numbers in the front, what's the biggest problem that they have? The offense can't get off the field, or the offense can't stay on the field. It's 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. You put your defense back in bad situations, you're going to totally get worn out by every game. You saw it in your game against Denver. Okay? I love Hurts. Can be better at things, absolutely. But he is nowhere near sucking. He brought you a damn Super Bowl and can bring you more. If this offense ever gets it together, it's going to be a great one again. Yeah, I got it. I'm nowhere near what some people in here are talking about. Hurts and Brady stats through 5 years are spot on. Brady didn't get the stats and awards until later. Now, remember something. One thing with Brady, Brady was a special teams guy too. How do I mean that? Was it name me a signature pass in Tom Brady's career you remember? Was there a signature pass, a signature moment where you went, wow, that's how you win a Super Bowl? Is there any moment? Or are they a collection of games and how he managed them and how he saw the game? There was no iconic moments in Brady's career. He didn't have that one explosive moment like a Montana to Taylor in the back of the end zone. He didn't have any of those. But you know what he did have? Early in his career, he used Adam Vinatieri. Used a great defense. Played field position. Got his team and played by the numbers. And they ran the ball as Brady developed under Belichick and was taught more in how to win games and evolved his passing game. He got better and better and better. But what was the key component? He had three things: Charlie Weiss, Josh McDaniels, and Bill O'Brien in 20 years. And then he had Bruce Arians, who won 3 Super Bowls. Look at the coaches that he had. Every single one of those guys either had head coaching opportunities, or were head coaches or current head coaches. Every one of those guys, plus Belichick and Bruce Arians. Brady was surrounded by great-minded coaches his entire career. Great coordinators. Josh McDaniels is a fabulous coordinator. Is he a fabulous head coach? No. I think Bill O'Brien's the head coach of BC now. Was the head coach of Penn State. Won a Super Bowl national title. I mean, he's a pretty damn good coach. Would you not agree? Belichick, the story's already written. No matter what they try to tell you about North Carolina, which has no bearing on it. You know what the North Carolina thing is to Bill Belichick? It's like Emmitt Smith going to the Arizona Cardinals or Michael Jordan going to the Washington Bullets / Wizards. It means nothing. It means nothing at the end of the day. Look at the type of coaches. You think Jalen Hurts has had that kind of coaching in Philly? No way. He's had one great coach, Shane Steichen. One great coach. Rest of them have been brought in by Nick. You see, I know some of you are smart in here, unlike M. Reyes, because he's just not very smart. These coordinators are hired for Nick. They're not hired to develop Jalen. You think, hey, how many people in here would say that Jalen Hurts is getting better as a starting quarterback in the NFL? You think he's getting better? Hey, listen, I won't pollute this question. Do you think that Jalen Hurts is getting better over the last 2 years? Okay, wait a minute. In what way? And don't say winning. In what way? So, can we talk about how Sweat, Milton, and Huff are all combined for 10 sacks? Yeah, we can. And you know what that is? I told you you'd never replace these guys. You guys were fucking nuts. You thought you were going to replace. Now, the Huff one, whatever. I'm talking about Sweat. Milton Williams is having an all-pro season. 26 years of age. 26 years of age. Get this. Look at this fucking ridiculous comment. Efficiency in play. And you're last in the league in offense. Hey, don't turn the ball over, so don't throw it. That's efficiency in play. is his terms. His efficiency is this. Hey, don't throw it. Don't turn the ball over. And you're last in offense. Okay, that's efficiency in his eyes. Efficiency is the worst offense in pro football. Don't turn it over. Thank you very much. That's how he says Hurts has been developed in the last 2 years. Is that right? Hold on. Nobody's talking about numbers, dude. We're talking about balance, ass bag. Dude, I'm done with this, dude. He's ridiculously stupid. Those are some of the worst ways of looking at football. It's just terrible. I mean, he's just not smart. It's just not smart. I think Hurts has gotten better against the blitz. How's that possible? He took 6 sacks. He took 6 sacks on Sunday. What do you mean he's getting better? This year he needs to get better against zones. But I think as the season went on last year, he got better at checking in and out of the line because you had a run game. You had an iconic run game. It's easier to audible out of that when you can go to a guy who's going to hit his head on the goalpost every other play. Fans that hated on Milton, oh, my boy, an apology. Oh, absolutely. They thought Moro Jomo was going to be the heir apparent and was going to slide right in. I said, not a chance in hell. Remember what people were saying to me? You're making it sound like Milton Williams is a great player. Well, fuck, he's having a great year. They went up to Buffalo, and he had a sack in that game on Allen, too. As a matter of fact, let me take a look at something here. So let's take a look at this. They're 3-2. One of my bold predictions was that the Patriots would make the playoffs. Right? Early on, still a lot of football. Not tooting a horn there yet on that. So let's take a look at this. Take a look at this. Patriots right now have gone from 29th to 18th in total defense. In pass defense, they got to work on that secondary. They're 26th. In run defense, Patriots are 4th. In run defense, the Patriots are 4th. Gee, I wonder why. Because the addition of Milton? Okay. And in scoring defense, they're 9th. Boy. Sounds like to me, Milton's making an impact. Let's take a look at something else over here. See where he is. And take a look at what he's trending at right now. See where he is. Gee, is that right? Am I right when I say Josh Sweat's second in the NFL in pass rushing and sacks with 5? Whew. So Sweat's second in the NFL with 5 sacks. Is that right? And he's trending to have what this year? 17 sacks. Let's see where our boy here, Milton Williams, is. And sacks. Here's Milton Williams. What's he trending to have this year? 9.5. Gee, I don't know. 17 sacks and 9.5. That's 26. If I can count right. With 2 dudes you let walk out the building because you didn't want to pay him, according to Howie. And I feel pretty good about letting a 26-year-old defensive tackle walk out the building. By the way, Milton Williams is a better ball player than Jordan Davis. He's a better football player. Who would you rather pay $20 million to, Jordan Davis or Milton Williams? And I know most of you will say Jordan Davis. And that's why you're 20th, or what is it? You're 22nd in run defense. Hey, by the way, remember when Big Sills told you think Jalen Carter benefited a little bit from Josh Sweat and Milton Williams being on the D-line? Remember all of you said no, it was the reverse. Those guys are having great years. Jalen Carter's not. I don't know. What happened? Is that a miscalculation by Howie again? Okay. Something to keep an eye on. 20 quarters. Just keep an eye on that. Let's not get crazy. But you told me Milton Williams was not a superstar player. That's not seemingly the case right now. I mean, that's not the case. Josh Sweat second in the league in sacks. And get this. You only had to pay $2 million more than what you were paying Bryce Huffsteel. Because he only signed for $19 million. What's the one thing all our issues have in common? Lack of discipline. Undisciplined. Wait a minute, James. Penalties, game plan, pass block, run block, rush integrity, coverage, effort. Where's the culture? I thought you had a culture in the building. What are you talking about? Sills, missed your fat ass great interview yesterday. JAKIB is king. They can't stop us. That's one of my favorite supers. That is one of my favorites. Good job, Flex, and I appreciate it. By the way, I see why you guys love Doug Pederson, man. I get this. I completely, I see it. So wait a minute here. Forrest, is this possible? So Milton Williams and Josh Sweat and Isaiah Rodgers all make the Pro Bowl. Is that possible? Oh, my God. That would be too much. If those guys make the fucking Pro Bowl, love you too, Steppen. It's all good, bro. Hey, is it possible that all three of those guys make the Pro Bowl? Dude, Rodgers is on fire right now. Let me see where he is. Holy shit, man. Gardner Johnson's talking himself out of. Let me see where Rodgers is. So I saw sacks. Wait a minute. Let me take a look at Oren Burks. Where is he in tackles? Where's Oren Burks in tackles? Let me see. Okay, he's not. Okay, so you're safe there, I think. Let me see here. Oren Burks. There's Bond. Bond is 13th. That's great. You know what, though? I think because the tackle play and the D-line play, it's not quite what it was a year ago. But he's still really good. He's such a great tackler. He really is. Let me take a look at interceptions. Josh Sweat second in sacks. Where's Huff in sacks? Hold on here. So you guys that were on your team this year, where's Huff? So Sweat second with 5. And Bryce Huff is where? In sacks. San Francisco. Where is this guy in sacks? He's down there with 2.5. Okay, I see him. Holy cow. Let me take a look at interceptions. Interceptions here. All right. Dude, I'll tell you who's having a great year is Isaiah Rodgers. Isaiah Rodgers is having a fucking great year. Holy cow. Man, what a good football season he's having. He really is. He's one of the highest rated players in the entire league on defense. Look at what he's trending for this year. Isaiah Rodgers is on pace right now for 5 interceptions and 85 tackles. Woo, doggy! You think they would help the defense right now a little bit? So Josh Sweat second in sacks. Hey, Milton Williams is on pace to have 10 sacks. Howie! Hey, wait a minute. Is that guy starting with the Raiders too? Thomas Booker? So wait, Isaiah Rodgers and Josh Sweat and Milton Williams are going to make the Pro Bowl this year on 3 different teams. And you had them dudes on your football team. Pour it on, Sills. You said it all season. What losing those players could be. Woo! Yeah, but I didn't think it hurt like that. It was like an enema. Holy cow. Oh, dude. Those guys are playing great football, man. So wait a minute. Isaiah Rodgers, Milton Williams, and Josh Sweat are going to make the Pro Bowl. Yeah! Oh, man. All right. So I want to give, before I bring Xander on, by the way, Battle Royale will be here. So tell me who I am. Yes, the offense is just, I don't know. What was the word he was using fucking today? Like a billion times? I mean, I thought the guy had Tourette's. There was like a word he was using. And he was like, I was like, and then he said, we're doing a really good job. It's going to break through. Yeah, that sounds like the captain on the Titanic. Hey, that iceberg's not really going to sink us, but shit. We should just plow right through it. Let's just keep driving. This is fucking too much fun. Now, listen, I'm going to set this up right here before I bring Z on. Ready? The Giants have no right to be in the game. The Giants have no chance to win this game. The Giants are terrible. There's no reason for this to be a fourth quarter football game. None. What's this? 50-0. I don't care. Pick a score. 100-0. I don't care. And Reyes, you're 53-2. Whatever it is, I'm in. Whew. So what do we have for Z here today? The meeting. Hurts had a Golden Globe press conference yesterday. It was rated by the National Foreign Policy or National Foreign Press on what kind of interview he did yesterday. Now we're doing that. TP, that's KP, sorry. And Landon. Without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, our friend Big Z, Xander Krauts, joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How are you doing?
I'm doing as good as you can get on a Wednesday afternoon before a little bit of hopefully some belt to ass tomorrow night on a Thursday night football game.
What if that game is 28-21 tomorrow night?
I just want to win the game. I mean, I'm going to be realistic, and we're not clicking on all cylinders right now. So until they get a little bit closer to that, I'm not going to anticipate we come out here and drop 50 on the New York Giants. They got a solid defensive line. They haven't quite been as good as I think we thought they were going to be in terms of on paper.
I think the offense hurts that.
Right. The offense hurts that. They're banged up on offense, man. Yep. I mean, they don't have a lot of players out there right now. So just get the win. Let's get this thing back on the road. You know what I mean? Let's get back in the win column here for the Birds. And they got to keep building toward, what we want to be. I don't think there should be as much urgency as we've had. And it's natural for us to feel that, but you really don't want to be playing your best football right now. But I think they got to get a little bit more aligned on like, all right, this is what we're trying to be. Even if we're not there yet, this is what we're trying to be. And I don't think they've quite found that yet on offense. So that's what I'm looking for. But we'll see how it shapes up tomorrow night.
How do you think the impact of a limited Carter and Landon not playing in that game tomorrow night, what impact does it have against the Giants?
I mean, big impact. You got two big players. I mean, that's two, those are two players who are Pro Bowl, all pro players. So there's no doubt that there's impact there. Now, I
That
think,
lowers your level of talent on your roster a bit?
well, for sure. Now, I think Carter's going to play, but let's just say for a second he doesn't play.
Or he's limited.
This is the team that you can get away with that on the defensive line.
Yeah.
Offensive line's actually a little bit worse because the Giants have a good defensive line and create a lot of pressure. So I think Landon might be a tougher loss here. But, here's the one thing I'll say about Landon. It sucks that he's out, but we kind of said this yesterday. It almost is like not a loss because he hasn't been playing like Landon. So you're losing 50% Landon and replacing him with a guy who might have been, 40% of them. So you're dropping off a little bit, but I don't think it's a huge drop off because Landon hasn't been that great this year. I mean, let's be real. If the season ended today, he'd be one of the worst guards in football.
Yep.
Now it's early, but I want him to get healthy. I think that's a bigger priority for this team. But no doubt. I mean, that's impact, dude. You got two trench players who are great football players, and you don't have them for a game. That impacts your team. There's no doubt.
Dude, when I was listening to Kevin Petula today, he sounded as confused as his offense. The way he called. I don't know where you. You know what? I don't want to be an asshole to the guy every day, but I'll tell you, man, I just don't get it. I don't know where he's at.
He just doesn't seem confident in what he's trying to do.
Yeah,
like it almost, and I think you see that with
all
the way
kidding aside.
No, I'm not ragging on him at all. I mean, look, I'm a fan. I hope he has success. I hope he figures it out. I'm not a fire Kevin Petullo guy. I'm just analyzing it as I see it unfolding right now. He just doesn't seem confident, in what he's trying to do. Like and I think it's proven by the way he's played the games. You have no identity. It doesn't look like you have an identity. And then the second somebody starts lashing out, you run the ball to Saquon Barkley 6 times. You're like a tumbleweed in the wind. Somebody pulls you this way, you go that way. Somebody blows you back this way, you go this way. You need somebody that has a structure and has a spine in a way. Now, I'm not saying he's a spineless guy. I'm saying you got to have an identity that you stick to regardless of what the moving parts are. And I don't think he necessarily has that yet. And then he gets to the podium and look, it could be a case, Sills, of the Philadelphia Eagles and this city. It's a tough place to coach and a tough place to play. And maybe that skin is, maybe he's cracking a little bit just in terms of you got to be thick-skinned, man, to deal with it. It took Nick a little bit to learn how to deal with it, until Nick was like, hey, I don't give a shit about the noise, and he still cares about it, but he at least fends it off better.
Well, there's a babysitter on the sideline for a reason.
Yeah, I got you. I
mean, no other coach.
I'm not on the Fire Petullo bandwagon yet, at least. I don't think he's done a good job. I don't think he's had a good start to his rookie campaign as a coordinator, and he hasn't particularly inspired a lot of confidence in me that I think he's going to turn it around. Even Kellen Moore last year when he spoke, at least you were like,
yeah, you kind of know where he was coming from.
You felt like he was the guy. Like, all right, who's going to do what he's going to do, or know what he's going to do, whether it works or not. Kevin, I just feel like is a tumbleweed in the wind, man, blowing with whoever pulls him the hardest one direction.
I made a comment a couple minutes ago, and I want to explain it before you comment on it. I said, who are they hiring these coordinators for? They hiring them for Jalen Hurts, or are they hiring them for Nick? And what I mean by that is, if you can adjust that quickly away from Jalen Hurts, you're not hiring these coordinators for Jalen Hurts' development, because that coordinator, most coordinators are hired to get the best out of the franchise quarterback. When you hired Todd Monken, you're not trying to get the best out of Derrick Henry. You're trying to get the best out of Lamar Jackson.
Right.
When you have a guy like Matt LaFleur, he's not trying to get the best out of his running back, Josh Jacobs. He's trying to get the best out of Jordan Love. So Are they hiring these coordinators for Nick to be able to coach? Or are you hiring these coordinators to get the best out of your franchise quarterback to continue to develop? And here is where I think that gets exposed. Well, last year you said to me, and you weren't the only one, there were hundreds of people say this. We didn't have to have a big-time passing game last year because we had an iconic run game. Okay? Well, when that iconic run game is falling off and you have to rely on the passing game's not there either. So in a way, it's kind of exposed the lack of development in the passing game. Or how about this? The evolving in the balance. They're just not evolving the passing game. Like you said yesterday too, Xander, we don't have to have 500 yards in passing. You just have to have some sense of balance in this thing. So do you get what I'm saying when I go,
Absolutely.
I think they've hired these coordinators for Nick and not Jalen.
I absolutely get what you're saying. Let me ask you this question in response before I answer. What's more important to have? A coach who has a great scheme, who will discard players until he gets the right players for his scheme. In other words, scheme first. Example would be McVay, who had Jared Goff and said, don't want him, need to get Stafford. He stuck to his scheme. Or is it better to have an adaptive coordinator? Example would be a Shane Steichen, who gets Daniel Jones and he coaches him differently than Jalen Hurts. A Shanahan. Well, Shanahan's more like McVay, but you get what I'm saying there, where a coordinator will adapt more. You see Sirianni, who used to have Phillip Rivers, now he's in this scheme. There's, Todd Monken, who wasn't always with run first guys. Now he's adapted to having Lamar. Is that better to have, or is it better to have the offensive genius who won't change what he wants to do based on the player? He'll just find the right player to run what he wants to do. What's better to have?
So you're basically talking about John Gruden and a guy like Kellen Moore, where John Gruden is not going to change his offensive
Exactly
scheme.
right.
He just is not going to. He believes in his scheme, no matter who the Jimmies and Joes are.
Right.
Kellen Moore's going to go by what the roster is.
Yeah, I don't even know if Kellen Moore is a perfect example because I think he got bullied into running that offense last year.
Okay, he got bullied into running the offense then.
Yeah.
That just tells you again right there the way they want to win ball games.
Well, I think last year, remember how it started last year and how we got to that point?
Yeah.
It was ugly.
It looked a lot like what it did against Denver.
More turnovers, though. We had seven turnovers in the first 4 games. Yeah, we were turning the ball over. I mean, so I don't know. But to your point, yes, that was my question because
what would I rather have?
The reason I asked that, though, is like you're right when you look at the surface of like Patullo, Kellen. They haven't really hired coordinators that you would think, all right, pair them up with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
But is it better to have that coach that has a good background, a good foundation of offensive understanding, who will adapt to what Jalen is?
Okay.
Like, is that more important, or should we be out looking for who's the next dual threat quarterback coordinator, like who's the guy that got hired in Washington? I'm blanking on his name. Cliff Kingsbury. Is that more important? I don't know. I don't know if I disagree with find a good offensive mind and allow him to adapt to what you have.
You're hiring these coordinators based on what the general manager has put on the team, not the quarterback. Because the quarterbacks in other places have to rely. Dak Prescott's the only thing going on right now in Dallas. Do you not agree?
Dak Prescott's having an amazing year right
Okay.
now.
That being said,
but he's having a good year.
Hey, all that being said, you're not putting an RPO guy in there for him because you're trying to run the ball. You're relying on that guy solely.
You're not, but how many? Here's my question: how many RPO guys are there? That's what I mean. Like, you might have to find a guy that
there's not very many.
That's what I mean. Like was Todd Monken this kind of coordinator before Lamar?
No.
You
remember something? Lamar had won an MVP before him too. Okay, he had won an MVP in 17.
Who was his coordinator then?
I thought it was Clyde Christensen. I can't remember, but in 17, there was another coordinator in the building. God, I can't remember his name.
We got to correct something. I knew they would get upset when I said Dak's having a good year. Steven says, relax. He beat the 2 New York teams. Steven, let me ask you a question. Why do you evaluate quarterbacks based on that when you go to college and Josh Allen went to Wyoming and didn't have a great college career, but everybody could see the talent? So the team didn't matter. And then you look at a team like Alabama who will win a national championship with Blake Sims and Jake Coker and Mac Jones, and those quarterbacks stink.
Bro.
Quarterback evaluation is not just about team. And that's ironic to say in this city because so much of us boost Jalen up because of the team wins. That's not how you evaluate quarterbacks, though.
I mean,
if that were the case, then the top colleges would have the number 1, 2, and 3 quarterbacks every year. They never do.
Bro, if you took Dak Prescott off that Cowboy team with the worst defense in football, they'd win 3 games. They'd win 3 football games this year, man.
I mean, the thing with Dak is now it's honest, though. It's 10-year career. You got to win in the playoffs. At some point, you got to win in the playoffs.
No.
Yeah,
but
again,
weeks,
but
again, look at the team he's on right now. There's no chance of him winning. There's no chance of him winning in the postseason. There's zero chance of them winning.
Their offense is fine. They got skill position guys. Their offensive line hasn't been that bad this year.
I'm talking about a 53-man roster.
I think Jerry's going to make a move on that defense, though, if Dak wins a couple more games.
I'd go get
I could see like a Trey Hendrickson or something like that. Yeah, going to Dallas.
Go to one of those teams like Cleveland. Make a move and go to Cleveland because they're just about ready to start selling the ship.
I'm wondering if Howie's going to be a caller or how big of a player he might be at the deadline this year.
For Ward, the kid in Cleveland, the
I don't even know if it would be that. I'm wondering if it would be like maybe a player like a Jalen Phillips in Miami, a team that is clearly just not ready to win at all.
They're about ready to call it.
That, you know what I mean? 1 year left of a great big contract or something. I don't know. I'm curious to see how aggressive. Because if Howie's anything like he was this offseason, we making a team move.
What do you make of Milton Williams and Josh Sweat having like spectacular years?
I mean, that's awesome. It shows you how good our team was last year. I mean, but think about this. Isaiah Rodgers.
Those guys haven't dropped off.
Think about that. No, they have not. Think about this, though. We had Isaiah Rodgers on our bench as a cornerback 3. That's how good our team was.
That is a great take.
You know, that's how good our team was.
You got a guy who could be a starting all-pro.
Exactly.
This year,
Milton Williams,
bench.
it's looking like I'm going to eat some crow because I thought Ajomo would be able to replace him. I always knew Milton was a great player, but boy, I'm happy for him, man. He really shows up on game tape. So impressive for Milton Williams. And Josh Sweat, I kind of knew would be good because he went back with Gannon,
that makes sense.
So I kind of figured that, but I'm happy for those guys, man. Look, at the end of the day, those guys are immortalized, just like guys who won on the 18 team, Chris Long, and he was here for what, 1 year? Yeah. Philly loves those guys. So I got a lot of love for Milton. I got a lot of love for Josh Sweat. I got a lot of love for Darius Slay, for Isaiah Rod, for all those guys. I mean, look, at the end of the day, this is why you want to win it all, man. Because think about the Phillies right now. I want everybody to think about this as an Eagle fan. And if you're a Philly fan, just as all 4 teams, think about this. The Eagles really did get it done. And I'm not trying to go back and be on the parade float. I'm just trying to explain the objective reality of the importance of winning a Super Bowl. They got it done. Like, they'll be regardless of what happens, if this thing blows up, if Jalen Hurts doesn't get another if Nick Sirianni they got it done. They're immortalized in this city. What will we think about this Phillies era in 10 years if they don't get it done? We'll be like, holy
missed
shit.
Opportunity.
Yep. Oh, we'll think of it like the Reed era in Philly. So the fact that you get it done, it really is an awesome thing that they were able to do that. Phillies, I don't think are ever going to get it done now, because if they don't do it this year, you're probably going to see some major departures there, and that's a team that probably is closer to being blown up than being ready to win if they don't win this year. So, you do have to appreciate that the Eagles got it done last year, and we'll see what ends up happening. But those guys are immortalized, to my point.
I want you to answer the question. I want you to tell me about. So they making these hires for the head coach and not quarterback. They're just not. Because they're not developing the guy. You don't really think Jalen Hurts has been developed as a pocket passer?
I really don't. I think they've stopped developing the quarterback, and it bothers me to no end. He's 27 years old.
And guess what?
I'm 27.
I think the kid has the ability to advance and get better.
Think about that. I'm 27. Imagine if someone said to me, "Oh, what you are now, that's it.
That's it.
That's your peak in your career." I'd say, "What the fuck?" Jalen's a 27-year-old young man, man. You should be like you said, you should be investing every resource you have into developing and improving that player. And the fact that they don't is, I don't know what it tells you. I really don't. I don't know how to make of it. I don't know what to make of it.
A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts. Isn't this more about a business relationship than it is about a personal relationship? This really is. Do we really care if they're friends? Or do we care more because don't you think that play embodies
friends?
Don't you think that play that, people are suggesting that he stopped on, isn't that more about professionalism? Isn't that more about a professional relationship than it is about a personal relationship? So, I mean, I get to some context of what John was saying where, hey, dude, I don't get into the gossip and who's friends with this and that. Why has their business relationship deteriorated to being listen, I don't think they hate one another. I don't. I don't think they hate one another. I think they actually probably like one another. But at the end of the day, how did the business relationship deteriorate so bad that you have to have this so-called meeting?
Yeah, I mean, I could care less if they're friends or not, but I think there is a real human element that you can't leave out. Like, if you hate somebody, like, you don't really want to work with them either.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they hate each other. I'm just saying
you make
I
the
don't
rule
care about the personal.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like Jalen, AJ, I couldn't give two shits if you guys are friends or not. But it does seem like it's come over to the field a little bit, and you've seen that, I think, in the way they've responded to questions. Like, and even look, this is where I hate, sometimes just beat reporters, and they're just like, oh, there's no merit to it. And I'm like, I'm listening to former football players say your coach or your quarterback not talking to his receiver after not connecting on a deep shot is crazy. It's crazy. Like, they don't even have you miss on a deep shot that could have changed the game. You don't say one thing. What happened there? You don't say a single thing. That's weird. So it's like, I hope it it can't affect the field. And I'm hopeful that that's what this meeting addressed, but I don't know, man. I don't really know what to make of it until I see how it unfolds. I'll tell you this though. The leash on putting up with it as it is right now, if they don't win another Super Bowl, will be so much shorter than people think. Like, so much shorter. Like, if they don't win a Super Bowl this year and this saga that we've had continues.
Who will it affect the most then?
Well, the easiest guy to move from a team perspective is AJ. It's not Jalen. And they would. You're there. I don't think they're moving Jalen.
No. Yeah, I'm not in that room. I'm not in that room.
So I'm just saying, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, and you think Jeffrey Lurie, who hates negative press, so much so that he, you get it, he hates negative press. He's not really gonna. I don't think he's gonna put up with it that long. So I don't know. I mean, we'll see what ends up happening. Again, I don't give a shit if they're friends or if they're not, but you guys got to put that shit aside because you guys got a chance to be a rarefied team, man. You guys got a chance to create your dynasty, and cement yourselves in history. So I hope they do it.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and this is a fantasy question. And again, it's because it's something that will be addressed down the line. A guy like Joe Burrow with this offense, with this offensive talent. Not this offensive play calling, but with this offensive talent, do you think he'd win more Super Bowls and be in more Super Bowls and advance the offense more with Joe Burrow than with the style of play of Jalen Hurts? And before you answer, this is the same thing that Nick Saban did with Tua and with Hurts. Who's going to get us more opportunities with the talent we have around us and elevate the talent around us? I'm not saying Jalen's done a poor job. The best career years that AJ's ever had were with Jalen. However, when they started to try to get balance, it's not capable of having balance. It's just not. They're not play calling balanced football. So I would ask you, wouldn't the organization go like this? Do you think if we upgraded the quarterback position to where we could utilize and maximize everything in our huddle, would it be better off that way or not? Or do you think they would still stick with the simplistic offense that they are running right now? How do you think they would approach that when it comes to his next contract?
Well, I think in theory, people would love to jump on that and say, absolutely, you'd win more Super Bowls. Here's what I think is guaranteed. I think you'd be rated higher offensively. All right, I think you'd have one of the best offenses in football no matter what, like at the very, very top of the league every single year. I think that's a guarantee. But for me to sit here and say you guarantee win more Super Bowls would be naive, because that just discounts the amount of factors and things that go into actually winning a Super Bowl. I just got done explaining how immortalized and how hard it is to actually win a bowl. Just to replace with a better passer and assume, okay, we go through the playoffs, we go through it doesn't work like that. There's more factors that go into winning a Super Bowl. If that were the case, then Aaron Rodgers would have a boatload of Super Bowls, or Dak Prescott would have Super Bowls, wouldn't he? I mean, he had the number one offense in football 3 years, and he had good defenses those years. So that's not the only thing. Now, yeah, we would probably have a more high-powered offense. There's no doubt about it. With AJ, with Devontae, with Dallas, with Saquon. I mean, you put a passer in there, yeah, it probably looks good, but I don't like using that because I don't think that's always the recipe to win. And I think that's been pretty evidenced by the Super Bowl winners, in history.
Well, Saban won. Saban won.
Saban replaced him in the game. You know what I mean? Like,
but he never got his job back.
Yeah, and guess what? They never did. They never won another national championship with Tua as the quarterback.
Okay.
Because he got hurt, because this happened. But there's always different variables. You know what I mean? Jalen brings different things to the game. Now, I'm not going to be naive and say Jalen Hurts can throw the ball like Joe Burrow or will work AJ. I'm not saying that.
I don't think he can throw the ball.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I don't think you just replace Jalen with a better passer and boom, the number one offense in football and 5 Super Bowls.
I don't think you can. I don't think he's a better passer than Mac Jones.
Jalen?
Yeah.
He's not. Mac Jones is a great passer. You don't win a Heisman Trophy as a wide receiver without a vehicle that can throw you the football.
I completely agree with Nick that, New England, they dropped the ball on that guy, because I'll tell you what, if I were Kyle Shanahan this weekend against the Bucs, I'm not sure I'm going back to Purdy on that, what I saw.
Yeah,
that kid was.
I like Mac.
That kid was
the football.
down the
How
field.
much do you put on this, though, the it factor? Because that's kind of what I was alluding to some extent.
Well, that's what Doug said yesterday, too.
Huh?
Doug said that yesterday, too.
Yeah. I think it matters, dude.
I listen, the it factor, what does the it factor mean to you?
The ability when the lights are the brightest to be at your best and to elevate crunch time. When the pressure in the tube is at its highest point, when it's damn near ready to buckle, there are people in life who buckle, and there are people in life who rise above it. That, to me, is the it factor. Brady had it. Jordan had it. Kobe had it. Jalen, in a short career so far, has proven that he's had it as a quarterback. In the biggest moments of his career, he's really rose up. Now, he's had moments where he didn't, but shit, every athlete does. So that, to me, is what the it factor means.
I think his resume is impressive.
What's that?
I think his resume is impressive.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
You think Nick Sirianni has been a liability or asset to Jalen Hurts?
I think you got to say asset. I think you have to with this. I don't know. It's more done.
With the coordinator hires?
To me, this is being clouded by the success they've had together. Because just like I just got done explaining, you can't just swap out a quarterback and expect to have the same success.
I don't know about a coordinator.
Now, if you're talking to me about strictly Jalen Hurts,
as
a player,
Hurts.
Forget about the team. Forget about the accolades. Then I would say no.
Has he been an asset or liability to Jalen Hurts?
From a pure playing perspective, I don't know if he's been that big of or he's been an asset, but you could find a bigger asset, would be my take. Like Joe, I've never seen Doug Pederson had Jalen Hurts throwing the ball in a complex 12 personnel offense, 300+ yards, his rookie year. Okay, his rookie year. That was Jalen Hurts who did that.
Yeah, I remember.
Now it's like we've dumbed down the thing to like the point where Jalen's being asked that. And I get it. We have different team now, and I understand all those different things. But, I do think there would be a coach out there who would have been able to take Jalen's skill set and really, really push it to levels where, beyond what it is right now. The natural reality of the way the Eagles play football is, and I know fans love to say, well, we won, but who cares? I agree. We won. Who cares? But there is other – there's a reaction to every action. The action that we've taken is become run first and win with Saquon. The reaction to that is your quarterback stopped developing and getting better because they didn't use him as much. So that's a fair statement. I think Doug would have got more out of him. And I don't even know if it's all about Doug. I think imagine if they hired Kingsbury, or imagine if they hired, I don't know. Imagine if he had a Sean McVay or something like that. And now maybe those guys wouldn't like whatever. Imagine if you had a guy who's so committed to bringing the most out of the quarterback. Even a Todd Monken's a good example.
Why won't they hire those guys?
Have they tried?
No. Kellen Moore was fired twice. So he was kind of on his last respirator. And Shane came with Nick. They just haven't how about this? You hire a quality guy like Vic, right? We would consider Vic the best defensive coordinator in the NFL, right? Why can't you hire somebody like that for Jalen?
Yeah, I don't know how many of them there are. All these offensive coaches, they all want these head coaching jobs. Every one of them. And I get it. It's like a wanting a It's like a wanting a raise. It's wanting a bigger, it's wanting a promotion. It's wanting to succeed in your career. I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying it. It seems like they're a lot smaller breed. Like, unless they went with a guy like who would be interesting to me? And then people are going to hate this name, but just like the concept. Who's that guy right now in Kansas City? Matt Nagy?
Matt Nagy.
He was an awful head coach in Chicago.
I think he's a hell of a coordinator.
Hell of a coordinator. He's been sitting with with Andy Reid for how many years? He's got all this experience. He's been through success and failure. He's seen so many different things. Again, take that name out. I'm not saying go and get Matt Nagy. I'm saying somebody with that type of pedigree that doesn't have this young name flash that's going to be a head coach.
You mean like Frank Reich?
Yeah, Frank Reich would be great. I don't think they'd go back down that Frank Reich road, though, because the ego of this organization is massive. They don't want to.
Yeah, but here, guess what? You wouldn't have to worry about him getting another head coaching job.
I agree. And I think he'd bring out the best of Jalen and at least advance Jalen. I know people love that Mike McDaniel name. I not my favorite dude, but.
Do you think that guy'd fit in Philly? I don't know. Okay. What do you make of the Giants, dude, on Thursday night? What do you think? What's your takeaway on them? I mean, they got Dart in there now. I think some of the numbers are skewed a little bit because the defense has been on the field so long, the 3 and outs, they're back constantly out there. It's kind of clouded that front seven. I think there's a good front seven there. But how do you see this Giants? I mean, we'll get more of it obviously tomorrow when it comes to our predictions, bud. What do you think?
Good defensive line, but overall shoddy team.
Shoddy.
They're just not a good team.
There's nowhere where they have an advantage.
They're setting up their young quarterback for failure because you have a coach and a general manager there right now who are on life support, and if they don't throw that quarterback to the wolves, they're gone anyway. So in a last-ditch effort, it's like we have nothing to lose. Me speaking, Dable and Schoen get the rookie quarterback in, even though we know he's not going to be successful, even though we know we might stun his growth, even though he could get hurt behind that offensive line. They don't care. They're just trying to save themselves because if they had another year, if they were guaranteed next year, I truly don't believe that quarterback would be.
They're not going to build They're not going to build the team for the next guy.
Right. They're trying to save their job right now too. Let's be real. They're on rest.
Right. Everything is about the now right now.
Yeah. So
I
don't think they're in a good shape from that perspective. I like Jackson Dart. I don't think Jackson Dart is the type of quarterback that will a team with bad resources to a boatload of success. I think if you have good things around him, he could be a productive player. I like him. I think he's got a good career ahead of him, but I don't think he's ready in this spot. That's for sure. Certainly not. They lost without Shepard. They lost Neighbors. So they're looking at who? Jalen Hyatt. And what's that other guy's name? I'm blanking.
Dude,
Robinson.
Yeah, that guy.
And Bo something. They don't have a lot of weapons out there right now. All right. That offensive line. Now they did get Andrew Thomas back, their left tackle, who's a good player. So that helps, but they're not ready to compete with us. If we lose this game, yeah, you're gonna have issues. Because I think you're looking at deeper problems with the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles will lose this football game.
You lose this football game against the Giants, you'd be lucky to win 9 games. If you lose this, they're not that good.
I'm not going to go that far because I just think Vic is going to be. I think Vic.
Dude, if you lose to that talentless New York Giant team,
They got some talent. They got defensive line talent.
Bro, if that's the only metric and they beat you, boy.
No, I'm just saying, like they can create some pressure, and when you can create pressure, you can neutralize a game, So if they're able to get pressure with no Landon Dickerson, with Tyler Steen, Cam Jurgens doesn't look the same. I mean, you can get a lot of pressure on that interior. That's all I'm saying. It's the NFL, man. I'm not saying
I can't name their running back except that kid Skeetaboo that they got. I mean, they got one good left offensive tackle.
I think Skeetaboo's overrated.
Yeah, he's okay.
He's okay. I mean, what people like him because he get bunt. He lowered his head.
Sumer in 2.0. He's somebody like that.
Ben Van Sumeren walked so Cam Scatterbo could run.
And a running back. He's the next. He's the next superstar, John Riggins. I mean, you're like, dude, relax. He's Van McMullen.
Let me ask you something. How do you think Jalen Hurts' career in Philadelphia will end? Retired here? Will he get traded? Will he get cut? How do you think it ends?
Really?
It's a big projection. I mean, I guess people will hold you to this, so maybe you want to.
Okay, no, I'm all right with
that.
No,
they don't have to hold. Don't hold it to him. It's just his thought in the moment.
He'll be run out of town.
You think so?
Joe Montana was run out of town. Who the fuck is Jalen Hurts?
Donovan McNabb was too.
They're all run out of town. Peyton Manning was run out of town. Tom Brady was run out of town. They all fucking were run out of town. Who's your boy? He ain't nobody special next to them guys. You think people want him to go out like John Elway? Love you. See you guys. Bye.
Chip Brady won
MVP.
Brady won 6 in New England and got run out of town.
Right. Carson Wentz got run out of town, didn't he? You haven't had a quarterback here that you haven't run out of town.
We've never had a football camp.
Okay, fair enough. You ran Randall out of town. You ran Donovan McNabb out of town.
You know one of my favorite videos of
You ran Doug Pederson out of town.
You know one of my favorite videos of Jalen Hurts is? It's on the field in the Super Bowl when we won this past year. And the confetti's falling. And the PR guy runs up to him and says, "You're the Super Bowl MVP." And he looks at him and he goes, "Super Bowl champ." In other words, fuck the MVP. I want to be the champ. That's one of my favorite videos of Jalen Hurts. I don't know, man. We're in uncharted territory. We've never had a quarterback with this much success.
Did you run Nick Foles out of town?
Nick Foles is a different story, dude. You call it the greatest substitute teacher story you've ever seen yesterday with Doug Pederson. Different story.
Okay, so if you would have stuck with Doug we would have stuck with Foles instead of Wentz. You think Wentz goes back to another?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that Foles compared to Hurts as the two Super Bowl winners are very different. Okay. Jalen was we never won a Super Bowl with a starting quarterback.
I'm just talking about people being run out of town.
I know, but my point is you're going off a history that never included Super Bowl winners. Okay.
Those other guys I mentioned, Joe Montana got run out of town in San Francisco. Peyton Manning got ran out of town. And
how many Super Bowls do you think Jalen Hurts ends his career with?
Organization's fucking great.
Organization's amazing right now.
It's a fucking great organization. However, they move off of people quickly. If they don't like something that's going on, they'll fire a Super Bowl coach and they'll move off a first-round pick no matter how much money they gave. And don't forget something, too. You guys ate fucking $32 million in money when it came to Wentz. You said, fuck this guy. Oh, and by the way,
Carson was an airhead. He couldn't handle Philly. I love Carson. I got a lot of love for Carson. In fact, I root for Carson still. We don't have a Super Bowl, our first Super Bowl without Carson. And in many ways, we might not have our second Super Bowl without Carson because the makings of Jalen Hurts happened in large part because of Carson. So Carson, in a way, is a catalyst for all of the success we've had right now. So I got a lot of love for Carson, but very different guy than Jalen Hurts.
Okay, well, I thought it was interesting when Doug said yesterday that Hurts was not drafted to be the guy.
No, he wasn't. But to his credit, a lot of guys aren't drafted to be the guy. Tom Brady wasn't drafted to be the guy. Dak Prescott wasn't drafted to be the guy. I mean, those
Montana
players,
wasn't.
right? Those
Brady
players,
wasn't.
there's certain people in life skills that rise. They're
Agreed.
an unstoppable force.
Opportunity.
Right. They take advantage of opportunity, and they're inevitable. And I don't say that to act like he's one of the greatest of all time. I just say it in life. You see that, and Jalen rose to the top for a reason. Jalen became the starter for a reason, and I think the rest is history. But we'll see how it unfolds, man. There's a lot still to go.
Do you think you're still hanging on your 14 wins?
I think I had 13, right?
13 wins, okay. You still hanging there?
Yeah, I think 13 is still a good number for this team. I mean, I think they got to work on this offense though. They got to find you just got to find the identity, right? Like, what are we pursuing? I keep asking this question. What is the goal of the offense right now? Last year, after the bye week, you said it yesterday. We established we're going to be a run team, and then some days it wasn't perfect, but your pursuit was to dominate in the run game and let everything build off of that. Is that our goal right now? Is that what we're building toward? Is it to be more passing team? What is the pursuit of the offense this year? And then I'm okay to not be there yet because you don't have to be there in October. But I don't even know what it is yet. And I'm not sure that they know what it is yet, which I think is a bigger problem. So that's what I think they got to figure out. But if they do figure that out, I think the defense is in a good spot. I think health is the biggest factor for this team this year. I think something that's not being talked about is every person on that offensive line has dealt with injuries, including Saquon now. The only guy who hasn't was the guy who didn't play last year with this team. Yeah. And we talked about the reps to Saquon Barkley ad nauseum. What about the reps to the guys blocking for those 400 carries? What about the reps for the receivers who blocked for those 400 carries? What type of impact, does that have on this team this year with the injuries and stuff? Because I will say, and it's not bad yet. We haven't lost like players for the year or anything, but we're more banged up now than I remember being in recent years. Yeah. So it's definitely something to keep an eye on this year. But I still feel good about 13, man. I think they can be good. I do.
That's exactly what I said earlier too about. I didn't say all the guys, the receivers, because you're right on the receivers too, but Saquon Barkley's 2,000-yard rushing season, man, took its toll on the O-line too, dude.
Yeah, I agree. There's no doubt.
And Juergens is a casualty of it.
Juergens, Dickerson, I mean.
They are casualties. I mean, there's no way you're not going to tell me that that's not some of the issues that you have going into this thing here is that offensive line here, man. I mean, wow. I mean,
no, you're right. I mean, look, that's a big part. If that, but here, if that offensive line, can hypothetically return to, I don't know, 80% of what they were last year, you're probably looking at a pretty dominant team again. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. But overall, I still do think like, hey, we got a great roster. We have a great defensive coordinator. Offensive coordinator is very suspect, but we'll see how he manages. We got, a quarterback that is now a veteran. You got all veterans really across that entire offense except for Tyler Steen. So I think you're in a good spot. I think that defense is ahead of schedule, and you got Vic there. So I think you're in a good spot. I think they just got to figure out this offense thing, and once they do, I feel like we'll be in a.
Do you think that the next 3 weeks is figure it out time? Because when you come out of the bye, you're at Green Bay. Dude, that Detroit team. Oh, by the way, I revamped something here.
Uh-oh.
And yeah, I think the Lions right now. Oh, no, I know what it was. Here, let me finish this. Green Bay, Detroit. You got Green Bay, Detroit, Dallas, and Chicago. When you come out of the bye. Then you have the Chargers as well, who can throw the football. You're going to need health.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to be in a position where, like I said, you're going to be tested when you come out of that bye. Do you not agree?
Oh, absolutely. Look, that's the beauty of the NFL, man. You got great teams, you got great competition, you got, good people in your. By the way, I don't think a lot of people are talking about this. what's happened in the NFL in the last couple of years. The NFC has become a better conference in many ways than the AFC. If you did your top 10 teams right now, how many AFC teams would you have on there?
Let's take a look at that. Let's
do it right Bills on there, obviously.
Here, look at this. This is
Colts on there right now.
This is CBS's list here.
Okay, let's hear theirs.
Number 10, they have the Broncos.
Okay, that's AFC.
They have the 49ers at 9.
Okay.
They have the Jags at 8.
Okay, that's a little high for them, but that's fine. That's AFC.
Packers at 7. They've got the Colts at 6. They've got the Steelers
Man, I don't like this list at all.
5. Now here's your top 4. You got the Bucks at 4. They've got the Bills at 3, Eagles 2, and Lions 1. Lions, Eagles, Bills, Bucks, Steelers, Colts, Packers, Jaguars, Niners, and Broncos.
I got the Jags and Broncos both outside my top 10 still a little bit. I think the Patriots are making a push for the top 10. But, I mean, let me just rattle the NFC teams I'm thinking right now for my top 10 right now off the top of my head. Detroit, LA.
I'm with
Green
you.
Bay.
I'm with you.
Philadelphia, Tampa Bay, San Francisco. And you could probably make an argument for Washington.
Or the
Packers.
Packers.
I said the Packers.
Okay. Washington. Maybe the Seahawks.
Seahawks probably top 15, but
okay.
Now there's AFC teams that are close: Jags, Broncos, Chiefs, Chargers, Steelers. I think I just don't have them in my top 10, but so I guess it's still pretty. I guess the parity is still pretty good.
I'm going to also say something to you here on this. Are the Lions like a superstar dominant team? I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're good. Are the Eagles? They got flaws. The Bills definitely not. The Bucks got injuries too right now. The Steelers are up and down. They're helter-skelter in a way. The Colts, I mean, are you buying that pumpkin yet? I'm not sure.
You know what? I'm kind of starting to buy it because I think they got a coach right now that's accentuating their quarterback. They got an offensive line that's one of the best.
They got a really good defense.
And they got a great defense. Like, how did the Eagles win the Super Bowl last year? We won the Super Bowl with a great offensive line and a great defense and solid quarterback play. Right now, Steichen has Daniel Jones playing really well. Now that he could turn into a pumpkin in the playoffs, we'll see what happens. But I'm just saying, I think they're going to be they could at least be like a team that is good through the regular season, in my opinion. They could win 12, 13 games this year. I could see that.
So right now, the Colts are 4th in total offense.
That's incredible.
That's and
they're playing really good, man.
Get this, they're 4th in passing offense. They are 9th in rushing offense. Holy shit! And they're 2nd.
You know who too? And you said it. Maybe they could be a top 10. Seattle is quietly playing really good football. Now they're 3-2, and they got it. They don't have a perfect record, but they're playing really good football right now. If you watch a Seattle game, they're playing good football. And Sam Darnold looks really good. So
dude, this Colts team is okay. Well, I know it's early. I got it. Let me take a look at them on defense. So the Colts
What are you looking at? The rankings?
Yeah. They're 14th in total defense. And passing defense, they're 19th. Rush defense, they're 12th. So they're a little bit light. Now, scoring defense, they're 3rd.
Remember, some of that it's tough to know because if I don't watch all their games, like even the Eagles defense, I think is messed up right now because the offense leads the league in 3 and outs, which is just, everybody, the offense is fine. No, the offense is not fine. Leading the league in 3 and outs is huge.
I'm not really upset where the Eagles are right now, ranking wise.
No, offense. Come on, man. Offense is bad. Offense has to be better.
Let's read some of these supers, brother.
Yeah, we got to run. Appreciate it. Appreciate everybody. Chasen. Oh, is that Chasen from Twitter? Chasen, do I have you on Twitter? Is that you? Is that the same Chasen? I got to reach out to you. You want a jersey, Chasen. I forgot I forgot to DM you yesterday, but I knew you would answer, so I got it in for you. Jason says, I love Hurts, and we can't understate what he's done for us, specifically in the playoffs, Super Bowls he's played in. But I always wonder what this offense would look like with McKay. He always looks so sharp. I think it's fair to wonder that, but welcome to being an NFL fan where the backup quarterback is the flashiest item on every football team. You know?
But Andrew, you bring the point up all the time here, and it's true. Dude, passing offense doesn't equate into Super Bowls. Balanced offense equates in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Or being dominant at one, like they were a year ago. That's what wins, man. And non-turnovers. That's what is totally the reason that the Eagles are 4-1 right now, is because of the lack of turnovers.
Yeah, good shit. I agree. Chasen, thanks for the $10. I see it you too. Thank you, dude. I got to reach out to you. You want a jersey, so I'll get it to you. Pumper says, take away push tush touchdowns. What does Jalen Alexander Hurts do at an elite level? MFer says, win. I'm going to question your football acumen.
Dude, if you
Pumper's
take
relentless.
Dude, he is, man. I mean, they just have not developed a quarterback. You know what?
They took it out of his hands. And I think, we talked about this on this segment. The natural evolution of taking the ball out of the quarterback's hands is that he stops developing, you know? And I think it's a little bit unfortunate. I'll say that, you know? I mean, I don't know what you want to say about the deeper meaning there. I see Mark Holmes smiling his ass off in the fucking green room. Talking about Jalen Hurts.
But you know what? He said this. If you remember what he said last year, if you think Kellen Moore is going to come in here and develop Jalen Hurts as a passer, he's not. And he never did. And on top of that, again, if it wasn't for the fact that we had the iconic run game a year ago, you know, it would never be exposed. And it's exposed now because you don't have that same run game.
Yeah, well, we'll see. NJ gives a smiley face. Thank you, NJ. I was watching you yesterday, NJ. I should have put a message in the chat, but I was watching the great NJ Fishing Maniac channel, a great channel. Everybody check it out. Rich says, Sills, you have a shot to get Stephen A on? That's a good one. Rich's profile picture with the Jacob hat under the fucking Eagle logo. That is great.
Rich, I've never asked him. I will ask him. I can get Clay Travis on.
I know people hate on Stephen A, but working in this business, I respect Stephen A because that dude does a lot of shit, man. He's on podcast. He's on area. I'm like, he's a workhorse. There's no doubt.
I always respect people who build a brand.
I respect people who work their balls off, and he does. Eric
right.
Long says, Doug and Frank got together, watched tape to see what Foles liked, and changed to RPO. Adaptability is more important because of injury. I agree, Eric. I agree. Kind of what we were talking about earlier.
I think he loved the fact when I said 3 backup quarterbacks delivered a Super Bowl. You could tell him smiling when I said that to him. And he's like, yeah, we worked together. We changed the offense and we ended up going on that iconic run. He goes, hey, dude, how about when he said Philly? He goes, you know what?
Yeah, that was a good clip.
Dude.
I've never heard that the coaches didn't know.
So the coaches didn't hear the play.
Yeah, I never heard that. And
it was just him and Foles. He comes back on, and they go, what'd you call? Philly special.
Oh,
they must have fucking shit their brick, man.
Dude, you were great on that interview, dude. I know I've been glazing you for it, but you were. It was a really good interview. Kyle says, I'd rather have Bobby Slowick than have to deal with Kevin Kotai.
Kevin Kotai.
I don't know. What the fuck did Bobby Slowick do? He had like an okay offense, didn't he?
Hey, by the way, your boy CJ Stroud was the offensive AFC.
My boy. Why are you saying my boy? What's my boy?
Offensive player of the week.
All right, great.
Stroud.
Wait, why are you saying my boy?
Well, because you think he sucks now.
I do not. What? Sometimes you make shit up. I never said that.
Okay.
Oh, my goodness. James M. says, what's the one thing all of our issues have in common? Lack of discipline. Undisciplined and penalties, game plan, pass block.
Wait a minute, where's Nick?
Yeah, that's Nick. That's Nick's happy horse shit ass on the sideline.
That's Nick's stuff right here, right? Or is it Big Dom?
I guess.
Come on, dog. That's all Nick stuff. Nick's the guy with the culture. Hey, how about him being asked a question? Hey, so what do you make of, that meeting? Well, it's professionals being professionals. I know, man. I know. He's just so fucked up. Dude, you don't think he's overrated?
Who's overrated?
Nick.
Nick's a bit overrated. But look, he does deserve some credit. Even if it doesn't look like I want it to look, and even if it looks goofy as hell,
he does.
To have that record, to have that success.
If you said he's overrated, I'm going to give you also he does deserve it too. Yes.
Well, and sometimes it's like, everybody's got an opinion.
Yes.
It's like sometimes it's like your opinion doesn't mean shit, mine included. Like, dude, he's successful. What does my opinion matter? He figured out how to work in that organization with that quarterback, with that team, with that offense, with that defense, with everything he has to make it into success. Would everybody do that? I don't think everybody would do that.
Okay. I'm going to use the Charles Barkley line on you. By the way, we got Mark Holmes. We're waiting on the other guy. We see him back there. Hey, listen, by the way,
I'm going
to use a Barkley line on you here. You think Nick Sirianni is a bus rider and not the bus driver?
I think that's what this organization wants, though. The whole organization is a bus in that way. It's actually more of like a rowboat where they're, Nick is like the coxswain maybe or something. But like, everybody's got a row and oar. Like, dude, they're too big of it. All these companies are so big now, man. They don't run it like one coach has all the say anymore. They just don't. It's just not run that way. Mark would love me talking about Dak right now. I've been giving Dak his credit, and the Eagles fans are not liking it.
No way, man. Dak Prescott.
I was texting my boy today. One of my buddies who's a Cowboy fan. I was texting him about Dak. He was telling me he's insane, dude. He's insane. I'm like, all right, he's got to win the playoffs, but he's having a good year. There's no doubt.
Oh, I'm going to drive Philly. Hey, wait, I'm going to drive Philly 500 nuts here because I am. I'm telling you, man.
Dude, Dak's having a good year, but at the end of the day, Philly's right. Like 10-year career, it's not year 4 for Dak. So like at some point, you do have to play in the big moments, but. He is the September and October champion is Dakota Prescott. You got to give him credit. He's playing good football right now.
Dak Prescott is playing MVP football.
I would agree with that. He's probably top 3 in the race right now.
Yeah, right now he's top 3 in the conversation right now.
Josh is probably number 1.
Josh is 1. Put Mayfield up there.
Would Daniel Jones be up there?
Daniel Jones is up there. Shit, man, you might even want to start putting in the top 10 Drake May.
Oof. I like Drake May. All right, so I got to run, brother.
Good that bold prediction. I said the Patriots would make the playoffs.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Now, it's early yet. It's early.
I like Drake last year. He looked good last year.
I know you did. You've always liked him.
Good.
All right, brother. We'll catch you on Bird 365.
Later, dude.
You got it, my friend. Appreciate all. Do me a favor. Hit the like button here. And, boy, I'll tell you what. Dakota Prescott. He's maybe playing the best football of any quarterback in the NFC right now. Is there a better quarterback in the NFC? It can't be the guy in Philly who's 31st in passing. He can't be that. It can't be what happened against Denver. However, I will admit, Jalen Hurts is in my top 5 still for the most valuable player award. Even with the shitty numbers. They're not 4-1 without him. With all of that being said, yesterday, folks, we had the legendary Doug Pederson on with us. And I can guarantee you, the 2 dudes that will have bigger numbers and more impact, and we look forward to each and every single week, is the legend himself, the Dallas Cowboy man who's got to be awful happy with Dak Prescott. He is Mark Holmes. And without further ado, our boy, the man, the myth, the legend, the champ, Philly 500 joins us now. How you doing, fellas?
What's up? What's up? How are you?
Holy cow, man. Mark, how you feeling about your boy, man? He's playing as good a quarterback as anybody in the National Football League. That would be Dakota Prescott.
Well, let me go ahead and wait for the shoe to drop because I know exactly what Philly 500 is going to say. Yeah, but it's only October. So wait till the playoffs. So there's always going to be an asterisk behind him. And the reality is Dak Prescott, even though he's on the precipice of having every Cowboys passing record that there is, he's not shit unless he wins the Super Bowl.
And that's correct. I mean, listen, when you're in that organization, This is why Jalen Hurts, the numbers don't matter with him. You know why they don't matter with him? 2 Super Bowl appearances and a win. That's why the record, you're going to look at him in a different light here. All right, Philly, first loss in a bit. Kind of different coming on here now because you guys haven't experienced this. My question to you would be, why did you stop running the ball when you had a 17-3 lead in the second half of that game? You score, and then you stop running where Barkley had 1 carry in the entire second half. In your opinion, what happened?
They ate some bad cannolis or something because I don't know. It's like I really think that it was great seeing them pass more first down and things like that, But I was shocked that Barkley only got 6 carries. We all wanted to see them use the passing game more, but not at the expense of 6 carries for Barkley. We wanted balance. I don't know why they went from one extreme to the other extreme, except to say that they felt the heat from the public because of the week that led up to it. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, I have no answer for that. It's one of those things that you scratch your head about,
What do you make of this meeting thing between the 3 heads of the 5 families there, that these 2 guys had to sit down and all of a sudden have a powwow? Hey, I've said this.
Great.
Well, let me ask you this. It's not anything to do with offensive schematics because right. This was more about the personalities between AJ and Hurts, right?
Well, of course, and that's what the issue has been. It hasn't been schematics. I think that for whatever reason these guys weren't communicating, and if all that's affecting them, then how you expect them to focus in on what they got to do work-wise. So I think it was necessary. I think it should have happened after week 2. And I wonder why the coaches didn't get involved in something like that earlier and why it took Saquon Barkley. That would be my question.
Mark, are you shocked you're 2-2-1 right now, especially with that Green Bay game? And now you got Carolina. There's a shot you're going to be 3-2-1 with Carolina. Then you got, if I'm not mistaken, I think you got Denver on the flip side. No, you got Washington on the flip side of that.
Yep.
Then you have Denver. But if you beat Denver too, you beat Denver and, you end up winning against Washington, you're going to be sitting there. And then, you remember coming out of the bye who the Eagles have, they've got Green Bay and Detroit coming out of that bye. So, I mean, how do you feel about yourself? Do you feel your team's getting better?
Well, here's what it's actually kind of amazing to me, because the fact that I know everybody's going, well, you just beat the Jets. It's only the Jets. I get that. It's only the Jets and the Giants that we won against. But the thing that's crazy is we had 4 freaking offensive linemen out. Everybody, 3 of the offensive linemen were undrafted free agents. The highest drafted guy that played on Sunday on the offensive line was a 6th rounder. And I remember you guys saying about our running game when I was saying Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, you guys cracking up. Javonte Williams has finally really healed up, and he is legit. I believe he's 2nd right now in rushing, 2nd or 3rd, and 2nd in touchdowns. He's tied his career best of 5 TDs. And George Pickens, for everybody waiting for him to implode, he's tied his career best 5 TDs out there. So the fact that the Cowboys missing 4 starting offensive linemen and 2 of their playmakers, and Kayvon Turpin, to play the way they did against the Jets, that bodes really well. The defense, they got a long ways to go, but we may have found a linebacker, Shamar James, who's a rookie. He had 15 tackles this Sunday in replacing of dude from Chicago. I actually feel pretty good. If the Cowboys can follow it up with the win over Carolina this weekend and get to 3-2-1, you're getting a little bit of momentum, knowing that you've got a lot of players that are coming back.
November 23rd.
They're simply amazing. I mean, the Dallas Cowboys are simply amazing.
I'm not saying that's not what I'm saying.
Giants, and then they beat the winless Jets that haven't had a turnover all year.
You know what's funny to me? Hold on. You know what's funny to me is no. Hold on for 1 second. I got an Eagle fan, Leo Bridgewater. Shout out to Leo.
Shout out to Leo.
Leo came in and he was like, Well, I was like, what's going on with Saquon? I said, he had 6 carries in the game. I said, you guys should have just been running the second half. He said, well, we lost Landon Dickerson. And I was like, did the rest of your offensive line show up? He's like, yeah. I was like, dude, we missed 4 freaking offensive linemen. And my guy is rushing 5.7 yards a carry. Your guy's rushing 3.2 after having 2,000 yards last year. Please explain that to me. Explain it to me.
Explain what?
What's going on with Saquon? I remember you saying
Saquon's not the issue.
He's going to go back-to-back 2,000 yards. Explain that.
I said if everybody remains healthy, he has a shot at it. That's what I said. And they're not healthy. Obviously, Landon Dickerson's not healthy. Cam Jurgens is not healthy. But you got to understand, they're playing hurt. Your guys are sitting on their ass at home watching the game on TV. These guys are out there like
free agents, dude.
Like men.
6th round and 7th round offensive linemen.
Supposed to play. Okay,
Let me
they're
ask
out
you
there
something
giving
here.
their all. I can't believe this shit with this September bullshit with the Dallas Cowboys. Every year, the Dallas Cowboys win in September. Oh, you got 2 friggin' wins against the Giants and the Jets.
You know,
and you do it.
I was not expecting. Listen, I got a whole new regime. I got guys we're getting off the field. We're not the champ. Remember, the champ is here
yet.
You guys are sitting here having to have team behind closed door meetings and everything else because you're about to explode, buddy.
Oh, you think the Eagles are going to implode?
In between shining their rings from last year, they're having meetings. In the meantime, you complain every year that Dak Prescott, he never has talent on his team. He never has talent on his team. But the thing is, Mark, this is the same pattern with Dak Prescott. In September, October, we know I'm right, Mark. When the games matter, will Dak show up? Will he show up when it matters?
Mark, are you predicting?
We're dealing with the first quarter of the season.
Are you predicting that the Eagles are imploding?
Please predict that.
I think now again they got the Giants twice this month.
I dare you.
And Minnesota, yes.
Okay, so you got get right games. You got 2 get right games going on, but there's some problems in there. And it's not my own words. I mean, I'm listening to Dan here and everything else, and they're like, this shit that's going on with your offensive coordinator with Hurts, AJ Brown.
I think they made more of it than they needed. I think they made more of it than they needed. I did. I think they made more of it.
Come on, let's be honest, Sills. This team hasn't even played to their potential yet, and they're 4-1. People were talking about them being 2-2. They haven't lost. They haven't lost. They lost 1 game. I hate losing, but it's over a calendar year. I'm not dismissing it.
Like you have some sort of.
I'm not dismissing it. No, I'm not trying to dismiss.
Your passing game is the worst in football right now.
I know, but Sills, I think that can be fixed from within. They've got the talent to do it. You know it, and I know it. I think the best thing to happening for the Eagles really is to let Landon Dickerson rest. I wouldn't play him for 3 weeks. Cam Jurgens, he got to figure something out with him. Dude's not healthy. Every time he gets up, he stretches his back.
Let me ask you this: do you think that those 460 carries plus that Barkley had not only affected Barkley, but it has affected Cam, Landon, and the entire unit? Because I'll tell you what, I mean, dude, Landon and Cam Jurgens have not been the same. I mean, they have not. I thought Denver owned him.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry, the kitty's all scared because we're yelling.
Oh, kitty.
Poor little kitty.
I love it.
Okay.
But you know what? It's me feeling. I told you.
Mark is a mean guy.
That's right. I'm mean. I'm nasty. But
he won't eat you. He won't eat you.
One of the reasons why it is so hard to repeat is because you guys are playing it out till middle of February.
Well, yeah.
That's less time for you to recover.
Yeah.
And you get through with the off season. You start workouts at end of March. Yeah, so you literally have a month off, and so your body never really gets a chance to heal. And when you think about Saquon having as many carries and hits and everything else, bro, I told you, everybody gets cut in half.
The thing is Saquon looks good. It's not him. He looks just as explosive as last year. The problem
those 3.2 yards, man, they were explosive as hell.
But here's the thing. Here's the statistic. Last year he was getting first contact at over 3 yards a carry. Now it's like almost less than 1 yard a carry before contact. I think Dickerson was hurt. He had the knee injury, right? I think he came back too soon. Then he hurts his back. Then last week he gets his ankle rolled out. So I think those things have hurt them. And then I think Juergens with the offseason back surgery is something you've got to really watch carefully because you don't know how somebody comes from back surgery. So hopefully he'll start playing better as the year goes on. But the offensive line's got to get it together.
No, Phil, you don't get that. Bro, no, you don't get that. Because when I would say we lost Tyron Smith, when I say we lost Tyron Smith and everything else, and I said our offensive line was shit, you're just making excuses for Dak. You're just making excuses.
Yeah, but your
team is sucking, and you're making excuses, but you won't let the Cowboys have it.
Completely different. You know why?
Oh, you're full of shit, man.
I'm going to tell you why.
That's right. I feel emboldened today because we got a victory. You lost. I've had a lot of shit that's been happening from you guys.
You see how these Cowboys fans
you're making excuses.
Mark, you literally do 50 videos a day. Every video is an excuse of Dak Prescott video. All I'm saying is, the Eagles are struggling. Here are some of the things that have to be going on and have to be fixed. What you do is say, well, Dak would have won the game if this guy wasn't hurt, and Dak would have won the game.
You just said Saquon would be rushing for 8 yards a carry if he wasn't getting contact after the first 2 yards.
No,
isn't that just insane that you're telling me?
That's
you're
not what I said.
Say that's not the same thing.
That's not what I said. I said what happening this year is that the offensive line was giving him 3 yards of rushing room.
It is banged up.
Now it's less than 1. So the problem, what I'm saying, it hasn't been Saquon Barkley. It's been the offensive line. That's all I'm saying. And you're going over, oh my God, because you want to justify everything Mark does. Sills always comes back to Dak to justify Dak.
Dak's having an MVP
for
season.
9 years of losing. He's the greatest September football player ever. The greatest.
He's turning red. Look, I love it.
Turning red because you're giving me agita. I got agita with this guy.
Got the cat scared. His face is turning red.
Hey, Mark.
My cats are freaking out.
How is it that we're going to see the Dallas Cowboys implement CD back in the lineup? Do we have an update, like when we're going to expect to see CD? Because I would think you get CD Lamb with what you're doing with the number 1 passing offense in football right now.
Mm-hmm.
You add him to the mix here. I mean, when are we looking at him potentially coming back?
We haven't seen the report for practice today, but last week he was beginning to work on the bands, and it's possible that he could be ready to play this weekend. I'm hoping that they don't rush him back. Let him heal up against Carolina. I hope that we can continue to go. But the thing that's been kind of crazy is it seems like we get a flavor of the week because CeeDee Lamb goes off and has a big game. CD gets hurt, and then all of a sudden George Pickens comes through and has a big game. And then this week it was Ryan Fenoy, literally out of left field. Jerry Jones last year was out here, preaching about, I can't wait to see that Ryan Fenoy get his first catch. He's got some Dez Bryant. We're like, okay, yeah, Jerry, good. Yeah, mm-hmm. And literally he went off. So having all these different weapons and even being able to take some hits and have these guys in here, I think that this is going to actually bode well for the Cowboys going down forward. If you think about losing 4 offensive linemen, they're not season enders. They're guys that will come back. And I dare say you may actually look at one of those guys and say maybe they're trade bait to try and help your defense, as well as Jalen Tolbert.
Okay. Philly, how come you're not buying any of it? Look, they're playing.
Who's down to play this week?
Carolina. Carolina won 2 games in a row.
Oh, my God.
They play Carolina. Hey.
Are you playing the Giants? What's the difference?
How many days?
What's the difference? 1st? Don't say.
How many days till December 1st? That's all I want to know.
December 1st. What do you? No. You mean when you guys play them on like November something, don't you?
No. I mean December 1st is officially Dallas Cowboys coach season. Once it gets here, all the realities come here. Look at him.
How about
2 wins?
Are you concerned about
and he thinks he
Jalen
won a
Carter?
Super Bowl. Yeah.
Are you
I'm
concerned about Jalen Carter in the heel? And he's listed as limited, and there's an opportunity and maybe potential he could miss some time in that game, or they can. Let's see if he finishes that game. He's been hurt all year. Was supposed to be a shoulder or wrist. Now we got a heel issue here. What do you make of that?
Yeah, I think that he's, it seems like when these guys get banged up, it just keeps adding up. Yeah, I think it's definitely a concern. I would love to just blow this team out and get the rest of these guys as soon as and early as possible. But I do think you need to consider resting some guys. I don't think that the Giants can beat us if you're resting 2 or 3 guys. So I would consider it. They talk about Dickerson missing 2 weeks, right? Why 2 weeks? Just don't play him for 3 weeks. Go on the bye. Give him a whole month to get healthy, right? These 3 weeks, like this stretch is where you've got to get things turned around. You got to get things fixed. You can't go into Green Bay and be struggling the way you're struggling right now. So yeah, there's cause for concerns. Panic, no, but cause for concerns, sure.
Mark, do you think this is the best coordinator that Dak Prescott has had since he's been in Dallas?
Well, here's what we can actually look at. Right now, I'd say yes. And if not going just by what we've done here, because if you actually go back to when he was the offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson averaged like 37 TDs and like 9 interceptions, and literally was averaging about 4,000 yards. It was the best 3-year stretch. That was back when Russ was cooking.
Huh.
And when he was with the Jets, he took Mark Sanchez before he became, arrested, to the AFC Championship game twice. And as he said, unlike Mike McCarthy, I wanted to run the football. He's gotten a guy that nobody thought was going to be anything, Javonte Williams, rushing like crazy, and they're a balanced game. Listen to Xander, and I got to say, Xander, I'm rather impressed with Xander. In fact, I need to do some work with Xander. He's talking about praising Dak Prescott and stuff, but he pointed out that you have to be a balanced.
He just needs a good night's sleep. He just needs some more sleep. He'll come back to his senses.
But he understands about being a balanced offense. And if you take, say, that Jake Ferguson 24-yard touchdown play, if you look at it, it was play action. They're faking the dive, of course, to Javonte Williams, and everybody got sucked in. It's a quick screen outside to Jake Ferguson. He takes it 24 yards.
He's like a genius.
Yeah, I know. So, yes, this is the best offensive coordinator he has.
Look at that.
How's your offensive coordinator doing?
Of course, he's the greatest. He's the greatest offensive coordinator.
How's your offensive coordinator doing?
Right.
I haven't heard.
He is dog shit. I'll tell you that, man.
Well, all I know is this: is we're 4-1 and they're 2-2, and at the end of the day, that's what matters.
You have to add.
I tell you what, it's not where you start, as we all know.
Well, we already.
Hold on. Proven by the Green Bay Packers
line
2 years ago, who started out, with a losing record in the last 8 games, turned it on. It's not where you start; it's where you finish.
Mark, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to say that. Because everything about you and your team has been about where you start and never where you finish. You haven't held Dak accountable for all those playoff losses and chokes. Now it's about where you finish.
So you can make excuses. You can make excuses of your offensive lineman being hurt, and that's why you guys lost this. I can't use any of that. So by your logic, we should say it's Jalen Hurts' fault that he lost that game. By your logic, that's exactly what you're saying. No. You're not holding him accountable for the game.
There's a complete difference. The difference was you asked why Saquon Barkley is struggling in the running.
Okay, why'd you lose?
I gave you a complete statistic why. Okay, and that was it. Why did we lose? Why did we lose this past game? Because the offense wasn't good enough. And if you want to say that Jalen Hurts and the running game wasn't good enough, I'll accept that. And I think they would too. I think the defense got worn out in that fourth quarter, and I think that the offense did not sustain. They should have tried to run more. They kept making too many mistakes, and it was on the offensive side of the ball why we lost. And there's no excuse why we lost.
I'm going to ask both of you questions about each opposing team here. So, Mark, I want to ask you about the Eagles here, and then I'm going to ask Philly about the Cowboys here. So we're going to go the other way. So right now, offensively, the Philadelphia Eagles are trending, and their trends are they're the 30th ranked offense in pro football. They are the 31st ranked passing offense in pro football. And here's the shocker, really. Not that those other ones, because they were kind of down the line of a year ago. They're 25th in rushing. What happened? I mean, they've only missed. Now, again, I think Philly laid it out. The injuries in the O-line, the new coordinator.
They're not the excuse. They're one of the issues. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. And the only guy they're missing is Becton from that team from a year ago. Why do you think, Mark, that team is struggling offensively?
It's crazy to say this, but it looks like they're scared to try and make big plays. It looks like they've gone really ultra conservative.
I think they're afraid to make a bad play.
Right. It doesn't look like – I mean, you got A.J. Brown. I mean, listen, I bust on the Eagles. But between Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, they're not trying to really go downfield with them. And it's like if he's not wide open, he's not dropping the ball to him. But you got to understand, you got to take your shots down the field to try and stretch it open. And because you're not, you're shrinking the field and you're getting more people in there. And they're just not challenging. I still think that Saquon, 2,000 yards is still 2,000 yards. That does slow you down. You are not the same guy. And to your point, the offensive line is definitely nicked up. And maybe it's because they had the short off season. But they don't look like the same team that they were last year.
I know. It's early. It's 20 quarters here. Now let me go to Philly. Philly, Dallas Cowboys are currently right now the number one ranked offense in all of pro football. They are number one, 400 yards a game. Passing, they are third. Rushing, believe it or not, an area where I thought that they would never be in the top 10 or eighth. And in scoring, the Dallas Cowboys are fourth. Are you impressed with the Dallas Cowboys offense? After
when you're
surprise.
When your defense is that bad and you give up 40 points to like the New York Giants, you better throw the ball. That's all you got to do. Well, what else can you do? You've got to throw the ball. The only thing that I give Dallas credit for right now is I think that and this is really the key to their offense. It's not Dak Prescott. We know Dak's a joker. It's the running game has been better than I thought it was. And I think that has helped set up that offense. But there's nothing to be impressed about. It's September. September wins are nice. Playoff wins are nicer. And I'm like Kirk Cousins. I'm like all these other quarterbacks to show me what you do when it is the playoffs and when it's late in the season. If we're sitting here in the playoffs and you're saying, hey, Philly, Dak's going to the NFC Championship game, I will eat crow. But until then, it's just another Dak Prescott season.
No, Mark, he's not impressed. Why?
But hold on. Wait. As bad as you say my defense is, as far as the rankings go, that's your offense, bro.
Then why do you only have 2 wins, Mark? And why didn't you beat my team?
Well, we were close. It was a couple of plays. Look, Miles Sanders still plays for you, bro.
Couple plays that has 12 interceptions.
Okay. Miles Sanders is still playing for you, bro.
Hey, guess what, dude? Guess what?
Okay.
Right
and the Green Bay game.
If Quinyon Mitchell could catch,
it
was over. Game was over long ago. I mean, I've never seen a quarterback literally have guys drop so many interceptions than Dak Prescott. On a weekly basis.
But you know what? It only counts if they come down with it.
Couple last ones here for you,
Mark. Same thing about your team losing.
Mark, couple last ones here for you now.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get on the bad end here. And then I'm going to ask both of you questions about your defense. Mark, you're 32nd in defense. Passing defense, you're 32nd.
Oh, but they're pretty good. They're coming along. They found the linebacker.
Rushing defense, you're 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
And in scoring defense, you're 29th.
Which is an improvement. We improved 3 spots.
We found the linebacker.
Okay.
You played the Jets.
What's your takeaway? Okay. What's your takeaway on your defense, and it's so polar opposite to what your offense
really
is having
is.
a great year. What's wrong with the defensive side? This can't just be about Micah Parsons.
No, it's not just about Micah Parsons, because if you take a look at where we were last year with Micah Parsons, the first 4 games, we did not force New Orleans or Baltimore into a punt. We were getting mollywopped last year on our defense with Micah Parsons on the field. Okay. If you look at our ratings last year on defense, we still sucked. Okay. Part of it is a new system, and Matt Everfluss is a zone guy. And unfortunately, that's not Diggs, who's still not quite 100% there. He's a man cover. So hopefully that'll get better as time goes on. Deron Bland just got back, and this is only the 6th game that they've actually played together in the last 3 seasons, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. Our linebacker play has been terrible until, like I said, Shamar James is actually playing better, which should help. And then, of course, we'll at some point hopefully get back Overshown, which will help some as well. But ultimately, it's going to be does Jerry Jones go out and bring some extra help in? Does he make a trade?
What are you laughing at, Philly?
This guy, the delusion of grandeur. It's just.
I said my defense sucked last year and it sucks this year. What is the delusional about that?
Oh, this guy's haven't played, and it's been 3 years now.
I'm saying that our best 2 corners hadn't played together.
Look, I think
6 games in the last 3 years.
I think that Dallas could be 0-5 right now, and Mark would be telling you the positives of it. Okay, that's what I think.
All right,
I think
Philly,
they stink.
I
think they stink.
Philly, here's you compared to the number. By the way, Mark, last year, the Philadelphia Eagles were pretty much by far the number 1 football team in the National Football League on defense. This year, total defense, they are now 20th. Passing defense, they are now, last year they were number 1. Now they are 15th. Rushing defense, which they were pretty decent last year. Now they're 22nd.
Wait, what did that shirt say?
What's wrong? What
the
happened?
Stars aligning? The stars are aligning.
The stars are aligning? Is that a Cowboy thing?
Yeah, the stars are aligning. Hey, my beautiful bride made that for me, bro.
You see what I deal with.
The stars are aligning.
Yeah.
That's pretty dope. She made that.
It's great she made it, but I mean, can you see how delusional this guy is or what?
Hey, on the offense, it's Dak, CD, George Pickens, Jay Ferguson. Those are my stars, and they're lining up pretty good. You can't say that my defense. It's not like I put my defense out there.
Hey,
okay?
Mark, the Pro Bowl quarterback right now for the NFC is Dak Prescott.
There you go.
See, Sills, this is why at the end of the year, it's so great, and the meltdowns are classic, and they go viral because he sets himself up for this. Right now, he is setting the stage for the
what's rule number 1 of
meltdown.
YouTube? What's rule number 1 of YouTube?
Lie.
Turn on.
Get people to watch, okay? If it's me melting down because my team ends up being ass, at least they're watching, okay?
They're going to be watching, all right.
Hey, I'm going to ask you guys one last question apiece here. So I do have to ask the question about AJ. I mean, aren't you tired of this shit? I mean, aren't you tired of it? I mean, Philly.
No.
It's every fucking week now.
I'm not tired of it. I could care less about it, to be honest. I think it's all blown up. When he starts doing push-ups in his driveway, all right, then I'll start worrying about it. But I think this is I think this is like nothing compared to what we've had with like TO and stuff like that. I mean, look, at the end of the year, if they can't work it out and something has to happen, we'll deal with it then. But right now, no, just go play football.
Would you trade him at the end of the year?
I prefer not to, no. But if this is going to be a problem where him and Hurts can't work together, of course. But I don't think it's that bad. I really think this is a lot of this is overblown, and I think a lot of it was not just AJ Brown. I really think he was speaking for more than one person, and he just took it on the chin by going public with it.
I'm going to tell you this, Mark, before I ask you about your prediction this week. I think A.J. Brown and Barkley and Devontae Smith, I think they had a problem with Hurts. And I'll tell you why. Hurts answered the question like the coach. The other guys were answering questions saying this. Hey, man, I got my boy A.J. Brown's back. Hey, I got my boy A.J. Brown's back. Hey, I got my boy A.J. Brown's back. You know how Hurts answered it? The same way Sirianni did. All we care about is working the process. All we care about is the work. That's how the coach talks. And I think those guys had a problem with it because can you imagine this? You had a team meeting about offense without Lane Johnson in it. That's not a team meeting without the most senior guy in your locker room. If there wasn't what Philly said, where there was a problem with these two guys and them not getting along professionally, I agree with you, Philly. I don't give a shit about them personally loving one another, sitting around making Barbie dolls or whatever you want to do. At the end of the day, though, dude, there's got to be a business relationship. And when you got A.J. Brown, cutting routes off, Philly, that's a problem, dude.
Well, there's a lot of frustration building up with those two guys. Why they couldn't communicate in game, I don't know. But hopefully Barkley having that sit down helped. I mean, we're going to find out how it helps. I think it's weeks. I mean, I just keep thinking, why wouldn't the coaches have seen what was going on or had any idea?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't they deal with this a week 2?
Behind closed doors.
Why is Saquon Barkley having to do it? That's what I want to know.
Absolutely. Mark, I think this is a merit badge. This guy, Mark, is a total doofbag. Hey, and wait, listen. I take that shit as a merit badge because of you being a Cowboy fan. I wouldn't take that wrong. You gotta look at it like this. When someone calls you names like that, that guy came here and he wanted to throw that at you. I mean, good for you, man. Very proud of you, my friend.
Man, then I probably have the most merit badges out of everybody. you should see what they say about me on my
show. Hey, all right, love, man.
Mark, what about it this week? Carolina, what do you got? Give me a score.
The thing about what actually made me feel good about this game was the Cowboys, playing against Green Bay, where everybody thought we were going to get Molly. Don't give me that Philly 500. Everybody thought we were going to win that game. No way. The fact that I know people are like, well, you're celebrating the tie. Well,
the Green Bay game? Yeah, I thought you were going to get.
I bet the Rams would have been happy for a tie with 49ers. Okay, instead of losing the way they did.
Yep.
But the fact that they showed up, you could look and say, well, it's typical Cowboys. They always play up when they play good teams, but then when they play the shit teams, they play down to them. They didn't against the Jets, and that's when they weren't with a loaded roster. If they can go into Carolina, and I think that they have a good chance to take care of business. The Carolina is feeling good because if they win this one, it's the first time they've been 500 since what's his name was quarterback there. So it's been like 4 years since they've been 500. They're going to be fired up. But if the Cowboys can find a way to get a win and start getting people healthy, it bodes good for the rest of the season. They got a lot of work to do on the defense, but you take 1 week at a time. And if you get that win that week, hey, you live to fight another day.
You think they could win 10 games?
Yeah. To me, here's the thing I said to start the season, because people keep coming back at me and saying, well, they're not winning the Super Bowl. It's like, I never said they're going to win the Super Bowl. I said if they win 9-10 games with a whole new coaching staff and losing their best player, that's a successful season. As Cowboy fans look at it, they'll say we suck. But you're starting a process. You got a young team. You've got now cash. You got 4 first-round draft picks over the next 2 years. You look at this and say, yeah, you got something to build on.
All right. What do you see on Thursday night here, my friend?
Sloppy first quarter, both teams, because it's a Thursday night game. They're always typically seem to be sloppy. I think the Eagles just got too much at the end of the day, though. I mean, Jackson Dart's third start, Vic Fangio, that defense should be able to confuse him. I'm not a big believer in Scam Scatterbo, so I think he's a bit overrated. And then I think, they got a good pass rush, but I think you could run on them. I think this could be a Barkley game. I think Eagles win 31-13.
Hey, Mark, how about this one for you when everybody was telling me that the Eagles were going to replace all those guys? You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Josh Sweat's second in the NFL at sacks right now. He's on pace for 17 sacks.
Jesus.
Milton Williams is on pace for 10 sacks right now. And the New England Patriots were one of my bold predictions that I said that they'd make the playoffs. And the cornerback, Isaiah Rodgers, he's rated as the best cornerback in pro football. Yeah, and those three dudes were on the team last year.
That's where I really missed the mark with this team. Is I expected way more from Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt. And to me, Jalix Hunt needs to be benched because I thought he was half-assing it in that game versus the Broncos. I was really disappointed. I thought he half-assed a couple tackles, let Bo Nix get by him, and I would bench him. I would bench him this week to send a message because that's where I've missed the mark with this team. I did not expect the edge rushers to be this bad, and that's a legit problem. And I don't know if you can fix it without trade.
And I'll tell you, with Milton and Josh not being there, I think it's affected Jalen Carter a little bit, not having better talent around him. I'm not saying Carter's not going to be a dominant player, but dude, having better players around you, you know that helps everybody at the end of the day. And here's something else too, Mark. Check this out. The Eagles were talking about giving Reed Blankenship $15 million. He is the worst rated safety in pro football right now. He's like the worst of all the starting guys. I mean, they were talking. Now I know why the Eagles didn't do it. The Eagles, I don't think we're ever going to give him that money, Philly. I don't think they were ever going to give him that contract. And guess what he did? He went and got a different agent. I thought maybe there would be a deal on the table. No way. The Eagles are waiting till March to see how this thing plays out. Do you agree, Philly? They let him walk.
I do kind of agree. Because I think if they were going to do it, they would have done it already. I really do. So I think it's going to depend a lot on how the rest of the year goes with his play. I don't think he's been that great, early on in the season. But we got a lot of football left to play.
We do. Guys, thank you so much, man. You were great. Hey,
thank you.
Make sure you check out that Doug Pederson, man. I got to tell you, Doug was spectacular yesterday. He said a lot of things there. He was like, one of the things, Philly, that he said about his exit was he thought he was coming back.
Yeah.
And when he got in that meeting and then he realized that, they said something about an assistant coach, Press Taylor. He's like, okay, I knew that was the writing on the wall. He also made a point that, get this, he's glad to see that the Eagles are allowing Nick to have some autonomy and elevating guys. He went like this. He made it clear that he was not given that opportunity to elevate coaches. It was a conversation always. So Nick's got more latitude than what Doug ever did.
Well, maybe he shouldn't.
Maybe he should. Hey, Philly, I'll leave you with this last one here.
Yeah.
Doug said this. If they ever called me on being an assistant when it came to being a guy who could be a consultant, I'm open to that on going back to Philly.
Wow.
Interesting. That's really interesting. See, I don't think – I always see it like – remember in Rocky 2 when Rocky retires and he's walking around the gym with the spit bucket? And they're like, you don't do that. You're a legend here. Like, I never saw him coming back like as an offensive coordinator. It'd have to be something in the front office. But, hey, if he's open to it, why not?
Holding a spit bucket.
Damn.
All right.
Well, he's a head coach of the winning first Super Bowl champ, right?
Yeah.
So he's got to be held in legendary. He's got to be held in legendary status.
It'd be like Jimmy coming back and holding Jerry Spittoon.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm.
Or how about that $250,000 fine that Jerry got there? Flipping off the Jets.
He flipped off the Jets. He can pull it out of the curve, out of his cushions and his couch and stuff like that.
I love Jerry Jones.
It's like, bro, it was just the Jets.
Oh,
okay?
here's RB doesn't help the Cowboys get to OT when we're talking about the Cowboys getting their first win against the Jets being 1-3-1. By the way, did you hear what Vic Fangio said about your kicker? He said that he's going to kick a 70-yarder this year.
Yeah, I think he could. I'm sure that we're going to try one. I'm sure at some point. But yeah, he's got one hell of a leg.
Philly?
Oh man, yeah, and the game winner, like the NFC Championship game.
Hey, game winner, Philly! Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate both of you. Check out. They're spectacular.
I didn't think you were going to call me tonight. I honestly thought, I was like, they're not going to want me on.
Wait.
I know he's not going to want me on.
How many videos tonight, Philly?
For Mark?
Yeah.
I bet you he's done 4 already.
Actually, this is only my second today, believe it or not.
Get the hell out of here.
I'm serious. This is only the second today.
The stars are aligned. The stars are aligned.
The stars are aligned. I see you guys.
They're aligning. They're aligning. They haven't yet. They're getting there.
They're aligning. Okay.
Aligning for December. And
love you, Philly. This is so much more fun today. I don't know why. Too. It was great today.
Well, because you're kind of winning.
You've won 2 games. You should be happy.
I'll see you
2.5.
All right. See you guys soon, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Great stuff as always, man. Yeah, they were good, man. Those guys are always good. Always good. Make sure you guys, please, do me a favor and check out their fabulous channels. You know, this all comes back on me because I said Mark was sitting in his grandma's basement in his underwear. And all of a sudden, I got the most popular segment of the week. And get this, and it doesn't matter if it's Doug Pederson, Jimmy Johnson, Ice Cube. Yeah, he's back there in the green room going, "Hey, I'm a star because the stars are aligning." I want that shirt on that dude every single freaking time he comes on here, man, because that was good stuff. All right, let me pay some bills here. Morgan & Morgan, the number 1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. These guys win, guys, because they take on cases that represent families from coast to coast, making sure that you're represented and that you get the best representation that you could possibly have. And they take these cases, and folks, like I told you about the one here in Pennsylvania where a family was initially offered like $650K. They ended up getting $26 million. Or the family down in Florida was initially offered $350K on a settlement. They ended up getting $15 million. This will be the easiest decision you ever make. Do me a favor. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound love 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand.
Thank you.
We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sil's National Football Show. I know we had some super chats during the interview and during our segment, the Battle Royale, so I want to make sure we get to some of these. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Nakobe Dean and what Vic Fangio does with Nakobe Dean. If that's the case, we all have merit badges on Mark's channel. Sills, it's an honor to be blocked. How you doing? Mark is blocking people. See, Mark, you got to take that stuff with a grain of salt. If people want to bark at you, man, let them bark at you. As far as I'm concerned, that's one of the beauties of YouTube here. That's what we do. We don't block anybody unless you're a complete douchebag. You start attacking people's families and this and that, then you're going to get blocked. If you don't, Xander's not blocking you unless you're spamming us or something stupid. Nobody gets blocked here. What do you think? This is WIP? Nobody gets blocked, or this is not the Fanatic. I mean, hey, by the way, how about Clear Channel, man, laying people off left and right now because they can't make their budgets now any longer. Shows you what traditional radio and where it's going. Now they're firing everyone. I mean, I've got more people texting me today that, hey, Sills, iHeart is firing me. And I go, wait, well, when your stock is 14 cents and it used to be higher, well, I mean, Sills, how about Aaron Judge last night? Hey, okay, how about him last night? I think your comment right there, it's funny, Xander said that to me too before the show. You know what he said? How about Judge last night? Judge last night. Okay. That's a poignant statement. How about Aaron Judge last night? 3 for 4, 4 RBIs, a home run. Yankees were down 6-1. They came back to win 9-6. Okay. What do you want me to say? Great performance? Bro, great performances are followed up with great series. They're still alive. Toronto has a 2-1 lead in that series. But if you're a New York Yankee and you wear pinstripes, you're in a bad room, dude, for one moment. You're in a bad room. Get this right here. And so, this is what we talk about with Jalen Hurts. It's funny. Martin is telling me that Aaron Judge is hitting 563, but then turns around and takes a shit on Dak. Okay? Aaron Judge hasn't hit his body weight in many of the World Series and many of the playoff games. But you want to point out last night. Fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, thanks, Doctor. No shit, Dr. Obvious. I'm talking about championships. Funny, your boy Jalen Hurts wants to be like Mike. Football and basketball are different, aren't they? He hangs out with MJ. You're the only douchebag that would come up with that line. First time Judge has ever done anything in the playoffs. Fact, Sills. Right. Great. Congratulations. You stepped up in game 3 so you didn't get swept. Okay? Sorry if I sound like a shitty Yankee fan. But, I mean, as great as Judge is, he's right now Dave Winfield. Great numbers. Hall of Fame player. Never won. Okay? Never won. Hey, never put Dak and Jalen in the same conversation when it comes to throwing the ball either. Should be bang. Hey. Chills, I'm going to start calling these fans who can't take criticism to any player on the Eagles the Bob Lane gang. Oh, my God. M. Reyes is the king of it. By the way, you've never heard me say this. Trade Jalen Hurts. Have you ever heard me say that? Every other guy on that team outside of Mulata and Lane and maybe Landon, every other guy in that offense is tradable. Every guy. I never said trade the quarterback. Lane, Mulata, those guys, Lane, Mulata, and Hurts. I'm not trading. Rest of them, if you offer me enough, I'll trade any one of those guys. I'm not tied to any one of those players, including Devontae Smith. I'm not tied to him. You know, the only reason that I may be more tied to him is because he gave me that hometown deal. Maybe the only way I would do that. If we don't have an answer for the interior of our offensive line, all of this stuff really matters. Correct. Dude, your center and two guards, not so much Steen. But your center and two guards are not what it was a year ago. It's totally not. Hey, Xander, did you see it was the defensive line player of the week? Remember somebody said that Lane played pretty good? Well, the guy that lined up over him was the AFC player of the week. AFC player of the week. Okay? He was the AFC defensive player of the week. Never put Dak and Hurts in the same conversation when it comes to reading defenses. Very true. Dak can read defenses. Hurts can't. Or struggles at it. But if I had to win a 60-minute football game, I'm not taking Dak over Jalen Hurts. It's a matter of fact. Here, I'll go down this line just to show you that I'm not all about the numbers that these guys put up. I would never take Jalen Hurts over Josh Allen. Drake May, yes. Tua, yes. I don't even know what they have in New York. Steelers, Rodgers, yes. Burrow, never. Bengals, never. Ravens, I would. Browns, I don't even know what they have there. Colts, Dimes, Jones, yes, I guess. Lawrence, yes. CJ, yes. Tennessee Titans, yes. Chargers, Herbert. Yes. Bo Nix, yes. Mahomes, no. Raiders, Geno, yeah. Commanders, I'll still take Hurts over Jaden right now because this is only his second year. Dak, I would. Golf, I would. Love, I would. Vikings and Bears, Baker Mayfield, I wouldn't. I'm going to take that back. Man, that's close. That's close. Purdy, I would. Stafford, I would, only because he's older. There's only 3 quarterbacks in pro football right now. Only 3 quarterbacks that you would really take in a 60-minute ball game that you would take over Hurts. So, I mean, now, if everything is equal, that list is bigger. Him currently with his Eagle team and how that thing is constructed, there's like 3 quarterbacks. Now, if they're on equal footing, Jalen Hurts needs a lot of help around him to be able to move the sticks. Okay? Which shouldn't have been sacks anyway. Love is nowhere near Baker in terms of trust. Baker Mayfield right now is playing as good a football as anybody in the NFL. And I would put Allen, Mayfield, Daniel Jones, and Indianapolis right now in the early part of the season. Okay? Seals, can you explain to me what a dime scheme purpose is? I'm not sure what's the objective in the scheme. So are you asking me what a dime defense is? Is that what you're asking me? Is what a dime defense is? Because if you're asking me what a dime defense is, I'm assuming that's what you're asking me. All right. So it's a formation where you put and you have 6 defensive backs on the field. They're used primarily, again, on 3rd and long situations. Okay? So you put 3 defensive backs in the secondary. Okay? So you're looking to protect the deep third. Again, you're replacing linebackers in dime. And it's like a 4-1-6. What's the other one? 3-2-6. And when it comes to alignments, you're taking the linebackers out and you're adding more in depth and you're adding more you're afraid of the plus 25. Okay? I mean, and the dime defense allows defense to counter offenses in multiple ways. When teams throw out multiple receivers or they go 4 wide or 12 personnel, that you can add those defensive backs that are extra in there. And yeah, this is kind of what it is right here as well. Nickel is 1 extra DB and dime is 2 extra DBs. Correct. That's the simpler way of doing it. Right. And you're afraid of like guys getting behind you. And there's a lot of guys like Sean Payton, you want to run dime with him because he'll come out in 4 set and 4 wide. And he'll come out and unbalanced. He'll come out 2 tight end set. So it really is to protect the big plays down the field when teams use a lot of wideouts. And I mean, a lot of teams again too. It's situational, but you also have this. I mean, this also is there to do this. It's there to help your pass coverage. Okay? By adding that extra defender. And what does that particularly do? It helps your front 7 and it helps your pass rush. That means you turn the volume all the way up. Okay. You see a lot of crazy dime packages in college, those funky formations. You see when they have 2 guys on the defensive line in college and they're just dropping everybody back now. I mean, I don't know how you don't have – I think that's where the dual quarterback is starting to get more involved in these offenses and where you want a guy to be able to run more. I see 2 guys sometimes lined up when they drop all these guys. I would tell my quarterback, that's a mismatch. Take off. I don't give a shit if the guy runs a 5.9. Take off. Get me yards. Get me 5 yards. I'll take a 5-yard gain versus a 15-yard throw that either could get picked or turned over. Any day, anytime. Give me the easy play. Dude, that's what the Eagles do spectacular. Okay? Sills, We need an over Sills head emoji. See here. Sills, could Max Crosby be a serious talk for Howie? It's a lot of money, man. How desperate will the Eagles be by the trading deadline? When's the trading deadline? November 4th? Is it November 4th at 4 p.m.? Is that what the date is this year? I've forgotten. The fact that people are panicking about the Eagles after 2 losses in their last 22 games by a grand total of 7 points trips me out. Every team in the NFL has done this at least once in that span. Well, I would put this there to your house. I don't think people are really panicking and freaking out. I think what they're freaking out is how the team has handled it. They look like they're wobbling. You think the Philadelphia Eagles are acting like Super Bowl champions right now? I mean, does that team look like Super Bowl champions? Bitching about something, whatever you want to underscore. I mean, do they look like Super Bowl champs? Complaining about, the offense, the quarterback, and the wide receiver are not getting along. Dude, the only part to me that's getting better is the defense. There is no drama on that side of the ball. Jalen Carter's the only drama. That probably made Vic so fucking pissed off. That probably aggravated him more than you know. That stuff with him with spitting on Dak. Playing like a borderline world wild card team doesn't feel right from every angle. I think that's a great take. They look like a wild card team right now. They sure do. How did the Chiefs look last year, Sills? Relax, man. Get this, folks. He's trying to compare a guy who went to 4 Super Bowls. Well, those guys get the autonomy with me. Because if you're given the autonomy with, I never panicked on the Chiefs a year ago. They've been to 3 straight Super Bowls. 2 straight Super Bowls at that time a year ago. They had won 3 of them. The quarterback is a 3-time Super Bowl MVP. Why would you panic on him? And by the way, don't ever compare Patrick Mahomes to Jalen Hurts. It's not the same. Not a lot of money on defense. No, it's a cheap man's version of a good defense. There's no money there. Think of what you're spending. It's the cheapest defense in football. And you know what? It looks it. But Vic's making chicken shit into chicken soup. Hey, by the way, Jalen Carter has not played well in 5 games. He's not played well. I should say 4 games. Let me ask you this. Hey, Jalen Carter, how do you think he's played in 4 games? I know he's hurt. The offense has all the money and all the ego. That's great. Eagles will get a discount on Jalen Carter then. Wow. So Jalen Carter playing poorly will get them a discount. Okay. The line that I told you, and you guys disagreed with me when I said that Jalen Carter is going to feel the loss of Milton Williams and Josh Sweat. You know what the narrative was from all of you? You told me those other guys wouldn't be the same players. Well, that's not turned out to be true. They've actually enhanced their football teams. Your numbers have gone the other way. Their addition has helped their teams. The subtraction from your defense has hurt your team more than I think Howie thought. See, that's where I agree with Philly 500. It's not so much you replacing people. It's that the people that you thought would replace them have not been able to fulfill that. And it's been like you said, Jalix Hunt has been nowhere. Very disappointing. Jalix Hunt has been very disappointing. And when is Nolan Smith even coming back? Is he coming back in a couple weeks? I sure hope so. Because those edge rushers have brought zero. A first-round pick and a third-round pick have brought zero to the defense. Seals himself said Milton Williams was going to – I said that Milton Williams would be worse off going to a new system until he had to learn that system, and he wouldn't have the numbers that he had in Philadelphia. You're right. He's turned out to be better. I was wrong. You're right. I was wrong. I thought he'd go because you told me he was the guy that benefited from Carter. I was totally wrong. Milton Williams was the reason that Carter played well last year. Thank you, Senor. Milton Williams and Josh Sweat are the reason that Carter played so well last year. That's what Senor's saying. You said that, chat said, no, I said that too. I was wrong. Milton has been a big impact. Thank you for pointing that out. I thought he'd go, and they didn't have enough talent up there, and I thought he'd be lesser of a player up there. No way. He's actually been what he was when he was in Philly. And the guys you replaced him with? Wait a second. I agreed. We are just here listening. Okay. Well, guess what? You thought Moro Jomo was going to replace him. You didn't think that'd be a big loss. All of you in here said that. By the way, how old is Milton Williams? Milton Williams. He's 26. How in the world do you let a 26-year-old defensive tackle go? Unless you think he's not as good. By the way, you see this right here? By the way, I ask you this. So you let a 26-year-old defensive tackle go away. Did Howie miss on that? Wouldn't you rather pay $26 million for Milton Williams than $20 million for Jordan Davis? Yes or no? Then you would have Milton and Carter. You didn't believe that Milton Williams was going to be this good. That's a misvaluation by the Eagles. That's a miss. Josh Sweat's a miss. Isaiah Rodgers is a miss. With all the subtractions and the injuries and a juggernaut schedule to begin the season and no consecutive home games, which was crazy, meaning we bounce around the country and have faced 4 playoff teams, we good. Okay? Especially with a shitty offense. I kind of thought Ajomo was going to take time to flourish. Look, I don't think he's been all that shitty. I mean, I do not think Moro Jomo's been awful. I do not. Had a nice sack. I forget the game that he had that sack in. Might have been the Buck game on that loop. I've seen some pretty good plays out of him. I'm not totally down on that guy, but he's not Milton Williams. He's just not. Outside of the draft, we didn't have a good offseason. That's what I asked you. I keep asking when Xander comes on. Excuse me. When Xander comes on, and I keep asking when everybody else comes on. What do you make of your offseason? How do you think Howie did in the offseason? How do you think he did? Other question I asked you. Do you think that Howie cashed in the 25 season for the 26 and 27 season? I think you guys just thought I was throwing topics around at you, but they had a rhyme and reason because here we are. Now look, like that one guy said, team's sitting at 4-1. There's no panicking here. Howie was a C- this offseason. Okay, the draft. Campbell looks like somebody. Makuba. Letting those players go like Isaiah and Becton. Isaiah and Becton were affordable. Right? Every game has been a panic. Extending Barkley and Bond are good moves, though. Really, Jason? You had another year on the Barkley deal. They gained no cap money from it, really. Why did you extend Barkley? You didn't have to. Bond, you did. Okay? Yeah, I mean, Bruce, you didn't have to. You know what I'm saying? It took Milton Williams like 4 years. I'd say 3. Or the 5th season. I don't know what it was, but and take a look at him now. Hey, I'll tell you this. He really is playing great. I saw him up there. What was it, Monday night or Sunday night? Who are they playing? The Patriots. Man, he was great with New England's front. I couldn't believe how good he looked in that front. He is playing except I saw Sweat get a sack. Sunday night. Thank you, Flexen. Seals, do you think some of the D-line and edge needs more time to mature into the positions? Yes, especially Hunt. Look, I'm not out on any of those guys. Remember what I told you in the offseason too? What was the thing that I said to you about Nolan Smith? Do you guys remember? He's not a 17-game player. Okay? He's not a 17-game player. Me and Jason were big on Milton. God, he's playing really great for the Patriots, man. He looks good in that front four. He extended Barkley to show other players who might want to come to Philly how we take care of our players. That's probably true. Seals, we are always going to lose people, but Rodgers and Becton are mistakes. Dude, I think Milton Williams is a mistake. I mean, we had the cap room to make those things happen there with those players. Yeah, they weren't expensive, Rodgers and Becton. You're right. And Isaiah Rodgers and Quinyon Mitchell, that'd be pretty good back there. Then you can have Keeley as your backup. Milt was the 3rd rounder, a draft pick you would like to keep as a starter. Correct. 3rd round is the most successful round in pro football history. He ain't that dumb. He's the #1 rated corner in football right now. Okay, I mean, he's #1 in the NFL right now. Now, this is probably true. He signed that. It's an enormous contract with guarantees. And they were under the impression that Jalen Carter was the reason that those two guys, Josh Sweat and Milton, played well. That's not the case right now. Maybe that changes, but I doubt it. Why? Because you don't have very good edge players. Dude, I don't know how people didn't see this coming. I told you this entire offseason, if you think that front four is going to have the same impact that it had a year ago when you were not ever able to take off Milton Williams and Josh Sweat, and they played all those reps, and it was going to be like seamless transition, that was never going to happen. It's turning out to be true. I was cool with Sweat leaving because he was spotty all year. Yeah, he had 8.5 sacks a year ago. And he was spectacular in the Super Bowl. Milton was consistent all season. I would have kept him. Jalen Carter has been injured all year. Okay. If we're going to go there, all right. I agree. It's a heel and now it's a shoulder. Why do you think that is? Remember what I said also? He'd be commanding more double teams and he'd be getting more attention because there's lesser talent on the D-line. Well, that's what's happening here. He can't pay everyone. Well, how about anyone on defense? How about anyone? Zach Bond? And you gave a fifth-year option to Jalen Carter. Nobody else makes a cent on that defense. Nobody makes any money. They're all one-year guys or they're rookies. Nobody makes a cent over there. Shit, the guy you just signed is Darius Smith. He's one of your highest paid guys. Vic also said he's out of shape. Crazy. Got a guy who's out of shape, and he's going to command $40 million. Man, I would have run to Brazil back and forth to be in shape to make sure that I was not. The one thing I wouldn't want my coach saying, hey, he's not playing good technique. Hey, he's got to learn better technique. What I don't want my coach telling me is this: he's out of shape. Get this. Look at this thing here. We have pieces in place that have the potential to produce for years to come. Yeah, well, that year ain't now. You need to focus on those contracts instead of being fiscally irresponsible and chase to plug perceived holes. So he's saying move off a 26-year-old defensive tackle. For what? A lesser player in Jordan Davis? And you think that Jalen Hunt's going to be a better player than Josh Sweat is? Under what metric did you see that? You're guessing on that. And you don't have another corner in place. Davis is earning his keep. How? You're 23rd in rush defense. I didn't see him in the last game. I saw Denver run him off the ball. Denver, M. Reyes is trying to tell you that Denver didn't dominate the defensive line of the Philadelphia Eagles in that game on Sunday. Is that what you're saying? They completely dominated them. How'd they get? They were 17. It was 17-3. And they rolled back on you because they ran the ball. Holy cow. He's earned his keep. You're paying him 20? Give me Milton any day. And dude, this is the same guy that wants to give Milton Williams or Reed $15 million. Kept asking you where the contract is. What happened to the contract? What happened to the Reed Blankenship contract? I must have missed it. I kept telling you the entire time, Reed ain't getting no deal. Oh, Reed ain't getting it. I'm not sure Reed was ever getting it. Yeah, he has. But how about this, Steven? Decent is not $20 million. It's not $20 million. You know what I'm saying? Okay, fair enough. It did. I think you're right. Reed's contract is down to about $15,000. Yeah, he's not on this team next year. No way. They're going to replace him, or it's going to be Makuba and somebody else. free agent-wise. Reed Blankenship will not be on that team next year. Needing a $200 million defense for Hurts is starting to show on losing free agents on the defensive side. You're damn right. Remember we pointed that out? They spent, guys signed contracts for over $235 million. And all those guys signed those contracts for $235 million. And it's showing. All right. Let's pay some bills here. Our good friends at Morgan & Morgan, the number one injury law firm in all of America, is Morgan & Morgan for a reason. These guys, folks, I tell you, with thousands of attorneys from coast to coast, make sure you and your family is well protected. Why? You know how many cases they get where people come in and insurance companies come in and give them claims that are well under what families are deserving? Well, that's what Morgan & Morgan does, number one. Make sure that you get great representation. Do me a favor. Log online. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales, pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Ignite your nights with free live entertainment daily, only at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia's Center Bar. 7 days a week, enjoy some of the region's top party bands, performers, and DJs as they take the stage in the heart of the casino action. Great cocktails, live music, and lively moments. It's all happening at Center Bar at Live Casino and Hotel Philadelphia. Visit livecasinophilly.com for more details and the complete list of upcoming events. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Welcome to the Jet Setters and the High Rollers, to the Shot Takers and the Tastemakers. Welcome to the Viewfinders, the Thrill Seekers, and the Night Owls. Welcome to everything you could possibly want on one 5-mile island. Welcome to the Wildwoods. Book your stay today.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We go the extra mile to lend a helping hand. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong. We've been deeply rooted in our communities for more than 85 years. And that connection to members has earned us our spot as the #1 health insurer in the region. So while you look out for your neighbors, know IBX is always looking out for you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on Sports Grid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
EAGLES. Eagles.
You guys have been great the last couple weeks here, man. I mean it. And it's one of the reasons why we put on so many great people for you guys, because you guys deserve it. I mean, we are really close to getting Nick Foles on. I don't know if it's this week or early part of next. We've been in contact with him, so we're trying to get him at the early part of the week, potentially, to have him on the program because I think you guys would enjoy hearing him talk about the process of how that whole thing happened and winning that Super Bowl. And, you know, I got a great text last night from Doug. He really enjoyed being on with you guys. And by the way, after that interview, I can't, you know, he told me he got a boatload of people texting him. And I know he knows how much you guys really love him. But, yeah, man, he just absolutely reveres Philly. And I think that's one of the reasons why he made that comment. If they ever have offered him an opportunity as a consultant, that, you know, he would seriously consider it. I think that was one of the bites of that interview. If you missed it, go back and watch it. We're working on Nick Foles. We appreciate it. By the way, tomorrow here we are. It's game day, right? It's Eagles and Giants. I don't really know what and how the Eagles are going to come out in that football game. I hope they just put the boot to that team and then get ready for, you know, the Minnesota Vikings. So, guys, appreciate you very much. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 to 6. Joe, Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow, like I said. We'll see you on the flip side.